Now it's live. God damn, that whole thing was it was like trying to lift a plane off the tarmac, but it couldn't gain enough momentum or engine. Normally we do like a 5-minute, like let's listen to the Forest Requiem. Sorry it took so long to get live. Okay, I want to make sure I'm live everywhere. I don't know if my computer has sucky memory or if this is just like an Adobe and Chrome double feature. Okay, let me close that. I shouldn't. That was a mistake I just made. Okay, hold on. No technical difficulties. This is all a part of the program. Do not change your channel. Do not adjust your television set. God damn, dude, I can't even move my mouse. All right, let me I'm trying to fight my way out of it. Can anyone hear me? I don't even know if I can access Discord. I do not have a computer that would befit my job, considering I can't have a streaming program and Chrome and Discord open at the same time. Hello? Okay, they can hear me. That's good. There are no technical difficulties. This is, hey, you're listening to Forest Requiem. Ba, ba, ba. You know that song you're always listening to? I'm just trying to open up these other tabs. Okay, it's really fighting me over here. Okay, this tab is open. I can't move my mouse anymore. Okay, there we go. It's giving me control back. It was so cold in my room, I was wearing a robe ready to record this, and then as soon as I hit the stream button, the engine at my feet under my desk took off, and it just heat up the entire room already. Okay, I've closed out of everything else, right? Stream program is good. That tab is good. Now I need to, okay, good. I've opened up Photoshop. Okay, this is still running. That's still good. I think, okay, we're still trucking along. I'm going to try and open up Discord again and see if that does anything. Also, just to check, we are live over on YouTube. I believe so, right? Okay, we are live over on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube chat. Hi. Hello, Dylan. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, Discord is still entirely frozen. I'm doing what I can. Okay, let me just do some shenanigans over here then, if we gotta wait for that anyway. Now would be the time to post this over on the BHultra subreddit. If you don't know, I probably don't need to tell you guys that there's a BHultra subreddit, considering all the links that are on screen right now. You guys should know this. You guys do know this. And if you don't, it might be too late for you. But it's okay. Nothing really happens over on that Discord. Because I've never been much of, like, a Discord person. I wouldn't know how to, like, you know, if I'm doing a brand Twitter or something, I could do that. Okay, post. Let me close out of this. Okay, get rid of that. Yeah, really, Discord is the one that's fighting me right now. I can't even move it. Okay, moving. It's over here now. I cannot full screen it. See, this show doesn't really work when Discord doesn't, because then I can't. I'm supposed to have co-host on the show, and there we went into an issue. Should I just like task manager force close this? I tried doing that earlier. This is a part of the entertainment, folks. This is hey, it's a pseudo-ironic bit, actually. This was all planned from the jump. There are no issues whatsoever. I love my computer. I love that it takes up 100% of the memory just to open up an app. To do a Google search now takes up an ocean surrounding a small island. Okay, now I can't even close Task Manager. All right, let's try and open up Discord again. That's truly the last thing we have to open up. And when we do, then everything is fine, right? Everything is solid. Technical difficulty. No. There is no such thing as technical difficulties. This is just a little pre-show. I've elected today that a pre-show is going to be a regular part of the show moving forward. All right, hold on. Wait. God, it's fighting me again. Okay, entire screen. There we go. Share my screen. Put that over there. Nobody say anything. We're going to do the intro. Everything is fine and normal. Okay, intro time. I'm going to try that intro again, see if it works this time. Jesus, that was a mess. All right, welcome, Ultra, Switchy sisters, and Danonites alike to episode 55 of the weekly episodic gaming-adjacent livestream podcast show. This is Switch 2 Ultra in the second year of the Nintendo Switch 2. After several weeks of non-stop video game information that somehow amounted to no games, there is a civil simplicity in a slow news week. That being said, the previous week wasn't devoid of pertinent information. Xbox managed to slam dunk all of the goodwill earned by their showcase by laying off a ton of hard workers. Information from the Ocarina of Time Remake may have leaked out, as well as a Sonic release that slipped through the cracks. We are 23 weeks away from the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, and we still haven't gotten a new trailer or know its price. And Valve still attests that they plan on releasing their new Steam machine, quote, in the summer. Also, I watched the season premiere of My Adventures with Superman and was reminded of how much I love those characters in that show. I'm your co-parent, BHultra.
And I'm your co-parent, Switchy.
And I'm your Funkle Dan.
This is going swimmingly. I have, however, been, I don't know if neglecting is the word, but severely, yeah, I guess we could say neglecting, because you can't say severe ahead of anything without it being pretty severe. I've been neglecting all the other releases because I wanted to get caught back up on Deltarune. Every year or so when a new chapter comes out, I don't have the same pessimism.
I resent saying every year or so. I mean, I can understand why you would say that, but I feel like that hasn't been proven yet.
What I was gonna say is that I don't share the same pessimism because I started playing the game in 2024. So as long as I have been playing the game, there has been a new chapter every year. And I'm stoked about it. You know, I'm riding high. It's around the same time every year where I get really deep back into it. But because of that, I haven't seen everything else that was released. So I guess two questions for both of you. Have either of you had the opportunity to either try out the Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade or the Donkey Kong Challenge?
I was thinking of doing the Switch 2 edition, but I was like, I saw that it was $10, and I was like, maybe I'll get that at some point, but I don't know. I don't want it enough to spend $10 because I mean, to be fair, it's running the game in 60 FPS. I think Xenoblade's a lovely game. It's a beautiful game. The upscales look, from what I saw on YouTube, they look a little bit not as bad as Xenoblade X does, but there still are a lot of artifacts. But they add, for what it's worth, they do add the jet skis, the ether things. I'm trying to remember what the ether scooters, I think they're called. And like, for what it's worth, those actually really do change up the game because perhaps I've developed a bit of a Stockholm syndrome thing with it, but there are like certain sections in Xenoblade where, you want to get to a certain landmark that you've never been to. It's never brought up in the main story. So the only way to get there is to jump into like this giant, it's mostly in this one area called Aerith Sea, where you have this, it's the largest map in the game, I'm pretty sure. And there's so much open space, and most of it is water. And there are ways to teleport throughout the island, the islands and stuff, the area. But there are a few sections that are like kind of like a little bit secluded that you have to like go to a specific area and just swim forward, just push forward on your joystick for like several minutes to get to. And all I'm saying is that a lot of people don't like that, probably for a reasonable reason. And that's kind of out now. That's basically been removed from the game because of the ether jets, because you can kind of just go a lot faster than you would otherwise. So honestly, I think the ether jets, for what it's worth, like, I mean, I don't know if like that they're worth buying the DLC for. Or I don't know if you call it DLC, the edition for, but they do somewhat, or strongly, I would say, change the way side content and secondary content is done in the game, because it used to be a lot slower.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like it fundamentally changes the pacing of large parts of the game.
Yeah, because like, so especially, I mean, I think you get the game. I think you get it pretty early on, but yeah, I mean, it used to be a lot slower. I mean, there's always fast travel in the game, but there are sections you can't fast travel to. And yeah, so like, especially in Aerith Sea, there are a lot of things. I think there were times like I would like try and grind off of enemies that are in one of those secluded islands. So what I would basically do, either I would save and reload, or I would like, go to the nearest checkpoint, take a minute to swim there, maybe a minute and a half, kill all the enemies, and just do that over and over again. So it's the pace fundamentally changes, especially for Aerith Sea specifically. Not so much for other areas. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how it's done. I think one thing, you could probably cheese this game a little bit more now, because if you're in like an area with really high level enemies, you can probably just like whoosh past them with the jets. And they have a hard time aggroing you because you're just going so fast. So you can probably do some ridiculous things in the game, probably get to some areas that are meant to be a lot harder to get to. But I think for most people, it's a positive.
Is it kind of like with Skyward Sword HD with the amiibo? Kind of like that?
What does that do? I forget.
So if you scan the Skyward Sword amiibo, you can just sort of like go into the sky from anywhere. You no longer have to like...
All right, they added a fast travel feature in the amiibo, but only in the amiibo.
That's kind of, I mean, you always had fast travel in Xenoblade, but it's a similar kind of thing where it fundamentally changes the way you have to like run errands in the game, because there are certain sections in Xenoblade, especially mostly in Aerith Sea. I mean, for the most part, like the game is pretty generous when it comes to checkpoints and stuff, but like basically the game's just effectively added like, from instead of just going at your normal running pace, which is relatively not super slow, but kind of slow in the game, you now have a new option that goes like 3 or 4 times as fast, and you can like boost it. So it's like it is a big shift. I mean, Xenoblade X has the scales. It's kind of like adding scales, where suddenly the way you kind of have to slog through a lot of scales are more different because they have verticality. But yeah, like just in general, it's a lot easier to get around now, I'm sure.
That just seemed like a fundamental. Was that the one that added an additional game mode as well? Because
this one actually does.
I've seen are like the jet skis driving around. It's like, this doesn't even look like Xenoblade. It looks like
all 3 of the that's the one thing that I'm like sort of like. It's only because Xenoblade is probably my favorite game ever, that I have like a weird mixed feeling on it, because it's suddenly like, oh, there's this new ether tech in the game that's never been mentioned before, that's never existed. It's sort of, I mean, I could see it existing. It's just like, I think for stuff like this, when I'm as emotionally invested in a game as I am, it's weird to kind of see like, the developers come back to it like 13, 14 years later and say, okay, this makes it better. Like, it's like, oh, well, actually, I don't know. There's always like something that, I don't even say I'm conflicted. There's just something a little bit bittersweet about it. I don't know. But anyway, the reason I say that is it changes a lot. And probably for the better still, though. I mean, like, if I've been thinking of replaying the series because of the new features, at least on New Game Plus mode, just to like, because they're long games and I've played them all. I've played 1 and 2 twice. I played 3 once. No, I played 1 like 3 or 4 times actually. But they're long games. But the ether jets, like, I mean, I'll totally be using them, because it suddenly makes it probably makes like one of the most sluggish things about the game a lot more bearable. So it's probably altogether like everyone's probably going to like it more, even if I say that I sort of miss, because I think the big thing is when you love a game like that as much as I do, there are certain things that are kind of annoying about it that you learn to love. So for example, like I remember my first time I ever played Xenoblade when I was a lot younger. I didn't play it that well because I didn't really know the gameplay. I didn't do all the side content, and I had a hard time with it. Then I played it again a few months later, and I kind of learned how to, do some of the patience testing things, and being really happy when I did, because it really rewards you for it. And I think now it's going to be a little bit different. You're not like forced to struggle as hard, but generally it's not like a super interesting thing they make you do. They just make you swim in one direction for a long period of time. So altogether, it's probably better that way. And I'm rambling, but there was one thing that I was like trying to make my way towards regarding the ether jets. So at first, I think a lot of people, including me, kind of got the impression that the first game's definitive edition wasn't going to have a new game mode. It does. So 2 is going to have like the thing where you play as the blades. I think 3 is going to have the top down thing. What one has is it has like the ether scooters or the ether jets or whatever that you can use on the overworld, but there are also like mini games that you can access where it's like racing or like collecting things in it, and that just gives you a few extra armor pieces and what's called Nopon Stone, which is basically like the challenge mode currency in the game. So it's nothing super big. I'm not sure what I would recommend people buy it for, because there's also the fully voiced Heart to Hearts, which, once again, I know you guys haven't played the game. It's like, I would say it's similar to like support conversations in Fire Emblem, or it's basically like instances in a game where you can kind of go to a certain area and see like a private conversation between two characters. And it kind of builds the bond between them. There's a lot of them in the game. I think it's a thing that a lot of people miss out on their first playthrough, because it does actually ask you to kind of use all the characters between each other pretty extensively to get them all. But they're really nice conversations. They really they expand on the characters' relationships very deeply. And with all that, now they're fully voice acted, which I'm surprised by that. I guess they got back everyone in the studio. I guess that's not that crazy. There's only like 7 of them, 7 main characters in the game.
It's funny that so much of Xenoblade's like specific identity initially came about just because it was the European version that got translated. And normally for any other game, they would be like, all right, let's get American voice actors. But because it was sort of on the back burner for them, and then like a fans really requested, to my understanding, that now so much exactly of Xenoblade's identity is the accented characters.
To the extent that I'm pretty sure in the definitive edition, at least for 1, I don't know if they did it for 2 and the re-release for 1. I don't know if they ever did this for 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure for 1. Actually, I might be wrong. I might be misremembering. I'm pretty sure it was like this in the 3DS version, at least. The 3DS re-release of Xenoblade 1, I'm pretty damn sure they kept all the British spellings. And I think they just did that, for the spirit. I think they either changed that in 3. I mean, sorry, I'm like swallowing water.
No worries.
I think for 1 definitive edition, they may have changed it back to the American spellings, or changed it to the American spellings, but they still might have not. I've kind of forgotten, but they still have all the British accents, the British translation. And that's just kind of part of the program now. I mean, with 2, with X, they had mostly American voices. There was a couple British characters, and there's like some kind of theories about why certain characters were British, but the vast majority are American, and it makes sense because they're American characters. The game takes place off of a colony that was kind of based off of kind of figureheaded by the American government. But 2 has mostly British voices except for the blades. So I don't know if you guys remember. So like Pyra and Mithra are Rex's blades in the game, and they're kind of like some kind of personified weapon thing. And like they have American voices. I forget. I'm like blanking. Is it Caitlin Glass? I don't think it's Caitlin Glass. Whoever voiced Pyra and Mithra. She's like it's a pretty well-known voice actress. I'm just blanking on it right now. That she had an American accent. Almost all the Blades have American accents. There might be like a couple exceptions, but then all the main characters, the non-Blade characters like Rex, Nia, I mean, they're actually there are some exceptions. It goes back and forth, but there are a lot of British voices. And then in 3, all the characters that are like based off of Blades, like have American accents, and all the characters that are more humanoid or like non-Blade have British accents. So it's just kind of a thing that they kind of integrated. And it's interesting because I remember a friend of mine, he once said that like Xenoblade Chronicles is a super British game along with Inazuma 11. And I'm like, no, I don't think it is. I think those are just 2 games that were dubbed in Britain and not America. I think you have a point in the sense that these games develop that kind of identity because of the dub. Mm-hmm. And on some level, like the way people think about the games is very informed by the British dubbing of it. It definitely is for me. And it's weird because like, there are some games, some series where, especially anime, that I've watched only subbed. And I never really want to watch it dubbed, but like Xenoblade, like I'm totally fine with the dub. I don't know. It's like the weird, quirky British voices is just part of it for me, because there is like a weird disconnect there, especially compared to so many other JRPGs where it's like, oh, whom do we hire to voice these characters. Oh, we just go to like the general like common American anime voice actors, that whole kind of like industry. That's who you usually hire. But because, at least for me, when I first played Xenoblade, it had these kind of like relatively not super well known British voice actors, and the game didn't have a super overtly anime art style. It still had like anime tropes, but it didn't have anime humor. There was always something that was really non-commercial about it, and something very like off the beaten path about it, and that's why I fell in love with it so much, I think. So anyway, all that's to say is that I probably should get it, just so I can, like, when I replay the game, I can move around faster.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Wait. So Pyra and Mithra are just like swords?
So
yes.
it's hard to explain. I don't want to go too in depth about it, but because there is like, frankly, when it comes to Xenoblade, like the weird shit there is like an implication to it throughout the whole game and like the whole story of the world. But basically in the game, there are basic humans, and there are these things called blades, which are basically these separate creatures that can be awoken by normal humans, and they have certain kind of magical powers, or like energy powers. They can Mithra shoots light, Pyra shoots fire, and they basically can be used to by the main creators as like friends or whatever, but also like, I guess, partners in like brothers in arms, basically, I guess that we would say. So they help you fight, and it's kind of weird because there is like a weird kind of like slavery thing to ask about there, because in the game they are kind of talked about like they're objects that are owned, but that's kind of part of the whole theme of the game. But yeah, so Pyra and Mithra are like, but they're kind of special. They're like the super magic like MacGuffin swords. So like they have different rules, but that's kind of how it is for most of the characters in the game.
The series is just
So
like
is this
Mighty
like,
Magic, is what you're saying.
Well, I was going to say, is this like a Bionic Commando kind of situation? If you know,
what's Bionic Commando from?
I think it's just
Bionic Commando is a game.
They put his wife in his arm.
Yeah, in the 2011 reboot, they added the detail of making his bionic arm his wife. Like the soul of his wife is in his body. Yeah, it's very. Is
he left-handed? He better be left-handed.
They do that shit in the Solo movie too, where there's like a droid in it that's constantly like fighting for droid rights, and then she dies, and then they say we'll honor her by putting her brain in the Millennium Falcon that she cannot control at all. So she just literally becomes a ship that other people drive. It's a horrifying existence, is what it is.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I'm surprised I didn't think about this, a minute and 30 seconds ago when I was describing it. I think the best analogy, at least to put it pretty simply, when it comes to what blades are in Xenoblade 2, is kind of like Pokemon. Yeah. They're effectively like separate creatures that fight for you or fight with you. And like, you can't trade them around. I mean, that's that. But like, they have like some sort of they're supposed to have like some sort of distinct relationship with you. In some ways, they're shaped by you, but they kind of like have their own disparate personality. I think the way like there are a lot of weird things about it when you think about it. It's kind of like how people talk about how Pokemon's kind of weird because you're like forcing animals to beat the shit out of each other. And the game kind of like in the universe they sort of try and say that like, oh well, it's actually good for the Pokemon, they like doing it or whatever, but there's still like a punchline you can make there. But I will say, like, in the game itself there's an interesting kind of exploration with it and like what the ramifications of it are and blah blah blah. There's cool JRPG shit.
The anecdote I had always heard, specifically in reference to the individual blades, that like blades are a very important thing to Xenoblade, and that also, I mean, that's why it's called that. That genuinely, I just had that realization just now after saying that out loud.
It's funny. Actually, that gives me a story. Sorry. When I first played Xenoblade X, back when it came out on the Wii U, the aliens in that game, they're called Xenos. So, and you might be ahead of me. So in the game, you're kind of like recruiting other alien species, and they're called Xenos. They're like, oh, and some characters, they're like racist humans who don't like the Xenos, and you kind of like help them understand each other, kind of overcome that or whatever. But the term is Xenos, and like it took me like 60 hours in to think like, oh, the Xenos in Xenoblade
Oh,
And I'm
right.
like, oh,
Of
okay.
course.
So you're not alone there. That shit's
yeah.
happened to me before.
I don't know why I just assume like it's sort of this autocomplete where Xenoblade exists as its own thing. It's like, yeah, that's one word. That's not a combination of words. That is a
It's like breaking your fast, you know?
Right,
Breakfast.
yeah. Well, what I've always heard is the anecdote is that in Super Smash rules in the universe of Kingdom Hearts about who can and can't wield the Keyblade. So when Kirby copies Sora, he has like a star recreation of the Keyblade, implying that like Kirby is not a Keyblade wielder, but he has an approximation. But that doesn't happen with the Monado. Like the Monado is strictly a Shulk weapon, right? And they just let Kirby use it.
Okay, so this is fun to say, and this is me kind of shilling the game to you because this genuinely is my favorite game ever. Okay, so the implication that Kirby can wield the Monado, there's two main things, at least when you come into with Xenoblade 1's lore in consideration. There's two things you can take away from that, because there are humans, or Homs, they're called Homs in Xenoblade 1, that can wield the Monado, but the thing is, it destroys them. It takes up a lot of, it hurts them to do. It takes a serious amount of strength and control, because it's constantly fighting you, and it just like tears your body apart and stuff like that. So there is one character in the game. Well, there's two technically, but it's kind of like it's never been super it's not super expressed in the game. But there's two characters other than Shulk who can wield the Monado, who don't have any supernatural ability. And that's Dunban, and there's another character from earlier on named Mumkar. But Shulk is able to for very different reasons. And I don't want to spoil it because I do think it's a super cool twist why Shulk is able to, wield the Monado. But so Kirby is either extremely strong and is able to hold the sword while it's constantly fighting him and shaking around and shit, or Kirby is dealing with the same shit Shulk is, basically.
We had a big stream last year where I just like after the first Air Riders director, maybe right before it, that I was, or maybe around Starcrossed World, that I was getting back into the Kirby lore. So I did a stream where I just like did my best retelling of ahead. Whenever Xenoblade Genesis comes out, ahead of that, we should have you get us caught up on all of Xenoblade. Just have an episode of this.
I would be down on. Well, I'd be really conflicted about that because I have like a personal policy of talking about Xenoblade very carefully, because it really means enough to me that it's like, dude, if I can be the person that like gets someone to play the game and discover like the kind of cool plot twists and shit without spoiling it for them, like that means a lot to me.
Well,
so
I mean, looking at this loadout
I go back.
now,
I'd consider it.
Yeah,
I'd consider it, and
of the 9 Nintendo games that have release dates, a third of them are Xenoblade technically for Nintendo's like release schedule this year, and then we have a new one allegedly coming next year.
For what it's worth, and I'll say this to your point because I think it is worth saying, like there are a lot of things that were kept close to the chest, like about Xenoblade, like 10 years ago, that they just don't have, they don't worry about anymore.
Right.
So for example, I remember, like in his final Smash, you see something you shouldn't see.
Right.
Also, I remember, like, I think it was when Xenoblade 3 or Xenoblade X2, or no, I'm sorry, not X2, Xenoblade X Definitive Edition came out, that on like the Switch news or whatever, like they had like a little article about it, and it's saying like, oh, you don't need to play the first like the other games to get this one, but it's worth knowing from the other ones, blah 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 blah, and it's like shit they don't tell you until 80 hours in Xenoblade 1. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know. I mean, on some level, because I'm gonna be real. I'm going to say this because it's effectively everyone knows this now, but okay, there's a connection between all three games, the first three games. X2, but X is a little bit like X is a little weird, but okay. So Xenoblade 1 is its own story. Xenoblade X, there's three weird things. There's Lynn, one of the characters, she has a Monado hairpin, like a hairpin that's in the shape of the Monado. And like that's never mentioned in the game. She just has something that looks like the Monado in her hair, and the Monado is obviously the sword Shulk uses, and it's the kind of like centerpiece of Xenoblade 1. And then also towards the end of the game, like one of the characters, they also all have Nopon, but one of the Nopon calls the characters Homs, even though they're humans, which is a reference to Xenoblade 1 for like no reason. But they kind of hint towards it with the DLC for Xenoblade X, or the final chapter in Definitive Edition of Xenoblade X. And then Xenoblade 2, when we first saw it, there was no overt evidence that there was any like canonical connection between the first two games. Not at all. I mean, there were like visual similarities when it came to like obviously like Rex, like Pyra, like her sword is red, is the same color as the Monado. It has a lot of the same kind of like visual characteristics. There's a lot of like obvious visual through lines between the two games, but it's not made clear that there's even anything close to a hint, like an overt connection between the first two games until like 50 hours into Xenoblade 2, and even then it's still very, very tenuous. Well, I wouldn't say tenuous, but there's like someone who may have not played the game in a while might not even really either remember it or recognize that it was actually like a connection. But basically, what I'm saying is, the reason I want to say that is because I'm just reminded right now, back in 2017 or 2018, there was a clip of Etika World Network seeing that scene, and he freaked out. So like they were very sparse with the breadcrumbs basically, and then Xenoblade 2 towards the end you do kind of like find out the connection more closely, and then Xenoblade 3, I mean like you like anyone who's played the first two games and watches the trailer will recognize that the two worlds, or the two like nations at war in that game, are based off of the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. So there like the connections are much more overt, but like there was like a good, I would say 9 years where that was just not really a thing they brought up in any promotional material. Like you were supposed to just find that out on your own, and I'm kind of sad that that's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there was a period of time where they were not against numbered releases, but more shaky about them, that they specifically with the Switch wanted to make games that people could just jump into, as opposed to like, oh, you got to play it. So maybe they were trying to quickly do a recap, like, oh, you could play the newest Xenoblade game, here's all the other stuff, especially because at the time I don't know if the other games were playable on the Switch.
Well, when Xenoblade 2 came out, Xenoblade 3 came out, the other two were available. Xenoblade Definitive Edition came out 2020. Xenoblade 2 came out 2017. So they were both out. But yeah, no, you do have a good point, because like fundamentally these are really long RPGs. And although I think, at least for me, I think there is something very special about experiencing Xenoblade 1 without any prior knowledge. I think that's really hard to ask of like your average person. That's the big thing. So I guess on some level I get why they did that. I mean, it's similar to like the fact that everyone knows that like Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII. Right. Like in many ways it's kind of become that sort of plot twist, or like Darth Vader is Luke's father, What? And on some, yeah, right. What? Like sorry about that, I guess. So and fundamentally, I think, for the series to continue existing and grow and be able to become like, continue growing its audience, it kind of has to do that. Because fundamentally, like, if Xenoblade 3, literally couldn't be played unless you played the first two, I think it'd be asking a lot more of like the audience, and it just wouldn't be good for business. And honestly, that's probably why they always say with these games, or I don't know if they always say, I'm pretty sure they said it a lot for Xenoblade 3. I think they said it for X Definitive Edition, and they've said it for Xenoblade Genesis, which interestingly doesn't have Chronicles in its name. It's just Xenoblade Genesis. I didn't really kind of take note of that last week. But each of those games has like they said pretty early on in the promotional material that you don't necessarily have to play the other games to play this one. And on some level, that's probably a good business decision, because I always think about that. There are a lot of games that I want to play, but I want to play like the other one first. Like I'll totally confess, I've never fully played Majora's Mask because I want to play Ocarina of Time first. It's stuff like that. So yeah. I think like, on some level, I think generally like with artistic integrity or the value of art or whatever you want to say about that sort of out of the equation, like when it comes to selling games, having games be relatively self-contained and easy to get into is good for selling games, because the more homework you demand, I think, of audiences, the harder it is to keep something going. There's probably some exceptions, but I think I thought about this with Total Drama. I genuinely think that's why they started doing like rehashing the cast more often, because you're asking a lot of people to kind of know what happened, over 100 episodes of TV before they can really understand what's going on in like All Stars. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's why they got a new cast for Pacateo, got a new cast for Redonkulous Race, and then got a new cast to get. Well, the reboot's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? I think on some level, the less you have to ask your audience to know, the better it is. Because if you just keep making stuff that's made for the people that were there for the last thing, I think you lose a little bit each time, and it makes it harder to grow your audience.
Especially with tandem to that, they flanderized the original cast to their very specific archetypes to make them easier to understand.
That as well. That's a good point. So I mean, there's probably exceptions to that, because there are a lot of super beloved shows that sort of play that sort of rely on you to watch everything before it, like Breaking Bad, I don't know, The Sopranos, The Wire. I mean, there's famous shows like that, but I think there is a cost that you have to incur when you sort of make it difficult for everything. Basically, you make it difficult for whatever's coming out now to be enjoyed by newcomers in general.
I was gonna waver on whether or not to bring it, but there's a handful of things on the internet that I am known for very specific fandoms, whether it be Star Wars or Adult Swim or Total Drama or Smash Bros. And there's a lot that are say it in a video, and I realized this when I outside of these streams, I went to the Amazing Digital Circus in theaters, and then I posted about it. And I'm like, oh wait, I don't think I've ever actually brought it up in a video that I watch and like this show. Mm-hmm. Similarly, within the last week, it seems that for the second time in its existence, in its 50+ year lifespan, Doctor Who has been canceled. And that's another thing that I haven't really talked about, but I love Doctor Who. I've been watching it since I was a teenager, and that is sort of the perfect example of a show that keeps going, that and pro wrestling, and that's why I really like them, of shows that keep going constantly until the double-digit seasons, but still practically reboot themselves every couple seasons, and there's basically every season of that is a jumping on point. And I've seen a lot of calamity and doomerism when it comes to the show. And I understand, because this is the first time since 2005 that it's properly canceled. There is or rather not renewed. There isn't going to be a Christmas special this year. And that's been a tradition they've been doing since 2005, to the point where it's kind of become a pseudo British tradition, even if you don't watch Doctor Who, to just watch the Christmas special that airs on Christmas, because it's been happening every year. But that is, I've seen people, be very concerned about the future of Doctor Who, but this has happened before. The show has been canceled by the BBC before, and there was a good decade where there wasn't anything new. But I think that there's enough of it that it'll probably be fine, and hopefully it'll be brought back. Maybe not on Disney Plus, because Disney didn't handle it super well. But the main thing out of it is that, like I mentioned, talking about more modern cartoons, I had this idea a while back that you never want to have a video where you don't actually have an idea for it beyond just the concept, or in this instance I had an idea for a thumbnail, and I'm I want to talk about this in reverse style. And the idea was basically talking about Has-Been Hotel, Smiling Friends, and the Amazing Digital Circus, and referring to them as the new Super Hulock. And ever since,
I was literally thinking that when you listed those three shows. I was ooh.
And since that moment, since I decided not to make that video, out of those 6 that I listed, now Has-Been Hotel is the only one that's still around. 3 of those have ended in the time. We had a weird episode of The Boys that was a supernatural reunion, and it sort of exists through that show now. But it's interesting to see that, all of those shows ended except for that one specific.
And that one's ending too. Like that one is very close to, well, not very close, but we now have an end date for that, basically.
Oh wait, do we know how many seasons Has-Been's getting?
Yeah, they were like 5, and 5's the last season.
Yeah, I mean, we're on season 2 now, so like I assume that like if it's a season every year or every other year, we're still like a ways out. I'm just assuming that every Amazon series is 5 seasons now, because that seems to be the uniform, except for, the Tick. In a post-Tick world.
Damn it. I'm still not over it.
I've actually really liked the Spider Noir series. I've been specifically watching it.
I gotta watch that.
I found
like it's an interesting concept.
Right,
yeah, you can tell it's like purposefully shot in black and white as opposed to like color corrected in post to be black and white. I've been watching that version of it because that's just like an authorial intent thing.
Same.
But it's interesting. Well, 2 things really. One, what you were talking about with Xenoblade is that there's weirdly been a lot of discourse this week about whether or not you are a fan of something if you have or haven't played it. And we live in a very like... Oh?
No, because I was talking shit on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't see any of it. I was just playing Cuphead on stream, and I'm not like calling them out specifically, but I just thought the take was interesting that there were a lot of people that's like, yeah, I can't play Cuphead. It's like too much for me, but I'm happy to watch other people play it because I really like how it looks. And that's kind of my stance on Friday Night Funkin'. Like, I wish I was good at it, but it's simply above my pay grade. And there's been, well, what's your stance on this?
Well, it's funny. I think I've talked about this on the stream before, and I was kind of thinking, like, how do I square the circle with what I said on the stream versus what I've said on Twitter? Because the thing is, on some level, I kind of get the argument that, like, people feel like they have some sort of connection to like a certain game, even if they haven't played it. Mm-hmm. And I guess I would say I'm sympathetic to it, but I'm very much of the opinion that it's fundamentally a super different experience than playing the game. And like, because I mean, I remember one time I brought up in I think on this show that I've never actually played Xenosaga 2 and 3. I just kind of watched like a YouTuber who knows the games well play them. And because of that, I don't really say that I have like a strong opinion on the 2 games. I say I like the stories, but I don't really consider myself a big fan of them. I kind of watched them because I didn't really enjoy the gameplay specifically of Xenosaga 1 that much. And I wasn't really in the mood to, kind of like play the other 2 ones. But what I will say is that that's super different than playing the games. Like, I mean, even if I think like, oh yeah, I think Shion's a cool character, but like it's a whole different thing. And it's weird to say because frankly, like on some level, I do think when someone tells me they don't really play games, they just watch like only Let's Plays and don't play them on their own. Like it makes me. It makes me, I don't want to say I look down on them, but I do feel like my relationship with video games is fundamentally very dissimilar to theirs. And that's basically, I think that's the best way of putting it, the most like diplomatic way of putting it. Because like, I don't know, I think, a big part of video games as a form of art is how they're played. The interaction, the interactability of between like the player and the game itself. And I don't know, I think like I mean that's the biggest way that's the biggest thing I think I strongly believe. And I guess there is some I find it a little bit. I think a lot of people, at least that I saw online, were just coming up with the most ridiculous excuses for them not being able to play the games. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw, I've seen people say that like it's a very privileged take to say that you kind of need to play the game to be a fan, and I'm thinking like, is it though? All things considered, like,
yeah, the internet at large over the last 5 years has learned the term ableism and really just drove it into the ground to make specific points, because it is a real issue that people face, but it's not an issue when like someone's telling you to stop ordering from DoorDash or something.
Well, that's the big thing. And it's because I saw, okay, so that's like I think what's on the higher end of like, should you play it or is it okay to just watch someone play it? Like if you say that, okay, I have dyslexia or I'm vision impaired, or all things considered, if someone tells me that and they say that like, yeah, I like, but I still liked watching it, like, okay, that's kind of fair. But I see a lot of people make that argument that aren't dyslexic or vision impaired, and it's like, okay, well, like why did you do it then? And I mean, I guess it's a preference thing. I mean, they're like, you know, I saw someone make the point. I've thought this before, that like Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise.
That's what I was gonna say.
Entire fan base hasn't played the games.
Right.
Like it's
my thing is that like having played a lot of that going into that gimmick horror game video, I think my takeaway was that like if your game can be experienced via Let's Play and you could walk away with the exact same experience, it probably isn't a very good game.
Yeah, I would go back and forth because, you know, fundamentally, like I like this is a thing that I might get flack for. I think Ace Attorney depends on which Ace Attorney. Like you could probably get what you're supposed to get out of Ace Attorney without playing it. For the most part, there are some exceptions because actually, as a kid, I never played Dual Destinies because I couldn't. I think there was a way to download it on the eShop, but because I was under 18, I couldn't do it. And I think someone told me there was a way, but I never figured it out. So I'm just like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll watch a playthrough. I played all the other games, but I was never able to play it, at least as a kid. So. And I mean, with Ace Attorney, like, I mean, I guess I didn't have to pay enough attention to figure out things on my own and, you know, to present the evidence and shit. And I think that does fundamentally shape the way I, you know, maybe interacted with the game, the what I got out of it. I wasn't like, oh man, like if someone told me like, oh dude, yeah, Case 5 was so hard or whatever, I'd be like, yeah. You know, I definitely
I would still argue that those are not comparable experiences. What I'm saying is that, like, if you're getting the exact same experience from watching the game as opposed to playing the game, then, like, the game's probably not that fun anyway. As opposed to, like, there is value to be had in watching something. I mean, that's what we're streaming right now. Like, that is the society we live in, where a large proprietor of entertainment is watching people play games. That's like half of my job. And that's like a different thing in and of itself. That's less about the game. And whenever I play a game, especially something like I did it last year with like Deltarune and Bonanza, is I was avoiding spoilers, but as soon as I got to a certain point, I wanted to watch everyone else playing the game and experiencing those things for the first time because it's really fun. That's the way I view a lot of like playthrough or stream material, is I like watching people play games that I have played and seeing that the experiences differ. And there have been like Let's Plays from like 2017 that I was just watching a Let's Play channel like every day that would play like Pikmin, and I didn't really know what was going on. And then after I played Pikmin for the first time, I would go back to the channel and be like, oh, okay, that's what was happening in this sequence specifically. This was the section I was at. And it's fun to compare that. My stance on whether or not it's the you are a quote-unquote fan if you've played the game is that it really is on like a person-to-person basis. And I don't think it matters that much. Like for me, I like to play games on the hardware they were built for. I'm not anti-emulation, but I much prefer playing the physical game on the physical console with the controller, and that's why I have a much more derisive opinion of Ocarina of Time than a lot of people do. But if I am going to use emulator, I'm not going to use save states or like the rewind feature, but that's not me saying like, oh, if you did those things, then you're less of a gamer, because that's like, you know, that's not a very high bar for a thing you want to be. That's not a high aspiration. Just for me, like, I don't like doing those things. Similarly, like, if we want to frame it like a tragic backstory, I got really into like walkthroughs as a kid to the point where like every time I got a new game, like as soon as I would load up the game itself and like actually try to figure it out. So when I became a teenager, I made a purposeful decision to like, all right, I'm not going to look up anything. I'm not going to research anything at all. And that's why, like, you know, I played significantly less Breath of the Wild than I did Mario Odyssey when they came out, because I got stuck in Breath of the Wild, and it was this weird in-between where I was too stubborn to look anything up because then that would, like, quote-unquote ruin it for me, but also I just wasn't playing the game because I was stuck somewhere, where now I think the middle point is streaming. Like, I allow people to backseat, and I'm like, I'm not going to look something up. But if one of the chatters wants to look something up and then tell me, I'm not going to complain about it.
It's an opportunity to engage with someone.
Yeah, the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition, that is just like the iPhone app that shows you where all the collectibles are on the map. That's arguably looking up a walkthrough, but because it is a feature of the game, I'm like, okay, but this is free game. I could just use the Zelda GPS to take me to where I need to go. And there's the same discussion when it comes to like game difficulty. And I think I talked about this too when I first played Lego Batman, is a lot of games early on now will give you so many decisions, and I don't want those choices. I want the game to decide for me. I don't want to load up a Doom game and it to ask me like, oh, which difficulty do you want to play? I want to play on the difficulty that the game was built for. Like, it doesn't matter what my skill level is. I want to play like basically because when you're making difficulties, ostensibly you have to build the game and then build other versions of that game. I want to play the version of the game that they built from the ground up, even if it is too easy or too difficult. I'm arguably like weirdly. My stance is like less decisions, and I said this last time too, that like isn't it's kind of a weird stance to argue against it. And again, I don't think decisions should be taken away from people, but me personally, I want to load up a game and just immediately hit the ground running. I don't want to be prompted with like the sensitivity. Sometimes I'll play like a shooting game and it'll take me a while to get used to it, and then people will be like, oh, we'll just change the sensitivity. And that to me is then like, okay, then we're playing a different game, sort of. Like I would much rather just learn the game's sensitivity. I know this is just a me thing. Like, this is not me arguing like I'm in the right and everyone should do this. It's more for me the way my brain works, that I would much rather get used to the way a game controls as opposed to changing the controls for myself.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting
because
it's interesting you bring that up.
There is like you kind of have, I don't disagree in that, like, if this is the sensitivity, the default sensitivity that you're playing at, then this should be good enough for everybody. You know, you can tweak it, but like, this is what the developers had in mind when you're playing the game. You know, this is what they envisioned you would be playing as, or at least for the majority of people. So if the sensitivity doesn't work for you, then sort of, yes, that is a bit of a failure on the developer part to make it more of an all-around. So if a lot of people are telling you to change the sensitivity, that is.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a failure.
But like a failure on that.
Yeah.
Not a failure, no. More like an oversight. But at the same time, I'll never say no to more accessibility options. You know, I think that's always a good thing.
Of course. I understand their purpose. I just don't. I'm lazy is what I'm getting at, and I want the game to decide these things for me so that I don't have to think anymore about, like...
Fair.
If I'm on performance mode or fidelity mode or whatever. I'm a simple man, and I want to load a game and just immediately have it work. And then because I'm much more partial to like learning a game as opposed to changing it to play like something I already know. I will turn off motion smoothing though, just because it bugs me a little bit.
It's interesting you bring that. I mean, I know you're not even really arguing against it, but I'm pretty like with sensitivity specifically. I think that's kind of a thing that exists to compensate for people's specific setups. Right. Like, you know, people have mouses with different DPI, but I generally do agree that like it's really important to get the base settings right. And there are some fun games that require the player to sort that out of the box play like shit. I mean, I think one good example, I think even fans of the game would admit this, like the Fallout New Vegas plays like shit out of the box, and you need to like get a bunch of mods to make it, you know, functional. Right. And generally I prefer when games are built to not have to be tinkered too much. And I think that's one thing specifically Nintendo does really well. Like that's a thing that they're very considerate of. They want to make sure, because I think one of the big part of their audience like is very young children who don't know how to, like, you know, don't know what they want. They just want to play the game. So making sure that a game feels good and responsive for them is super important. But you know, it's funny that we bring up difficulty, like selectable difficulty is really interesting because it kind of brings me back to the argument regarding whether someone has really experienced the game the way it's meant to be intended. Because, like, I just finished Mass Effect 3. You know, I don't know if you guys, I don't know how much you guys know about those games, but it was
a letdown when it came out. I don't know if the stance.
One thing they did, I think that one of the things they did to make the ending a little bit better is they have an extended version with a couple more scenes that kind of softens the blow. But I'm like, okay, I get why people kind of don't like this ending. But anyway, Otherwise, it's still a really good series. But one thing about the games is, and this is the case with a lot of shooters like that, especially more modern shooters, is they have like maybe 3 or 5 difficulty modes. There's like normal, there's hard, there's extremely hard. There's also like baby, buttfuck, little stupid idiot, easy. You know what I mean? It has like very easy mode. And usually you select that, you know, they say like often they'll have like a favor text saying that, oh, if you're, if you're just here for the story, just select this mode. You don't want to worry too much about the gameplay. And I've always found that really interesting because I don't know. I mean, it's sort of the developer kind of taking the opinion of like the identity of our game has more to do with the dialogue and the writing and the narrative than it does the shooting, you know? And like that's kind of an interesting position to have. I mean, people joke. I mean, frankly, you can make this joke about a lot of Sony games specifically. There's the whole like Sony games, press one button and you win the game kind of thing.
You see it a lot now too when like a lot of games have difficulty descriptors. It's not just like easy, medium, hard. And they won't even call them easy, medium, or hard. They'll call them, like, lax mode or whatever. And the description for that will be like, oh, a more story-focused experience as opposed to gameplay. And what that means is just, like, the game is a lot easier to tear through. The implication being that, like, the game is something you need to get through to get to the cutscenes.
Yeah. And that's... I don't know. I mean, it kind of, I think, sort of opens up... a position within the argument that I think a lot of people don't really want to think about too hard because I don't know, like how are you supposed to play something like Mass Effect? I think the developers would probably say, you know, however you want to. I mean, it's more about like your own personal experience with the game than anything. But in general, I kind of prefer when I guess the best way to put it is I think in a lot of ways there's a benefit to having everyone play the same difficulty even if it's really hard. You know, like when everyone has to solve the same problems and, you know, kill the same enemies, dodge the same bullets or whatever, I think, you know, there's a certain like there's a certain common experience that the community can kind of draw from, as opposed to, oh man, like this one guy, he was having a really hard time in this boss fight, so instead of resetting until he beat it, he just set the game at super easy mode and then set it back to hard for the rest. You know, it's like, or this guy actually really powered through it, and there's a sort of disconnect there that I don't know. I think there is naturally discourse sometimes between fans because, especially when it comes to difficulty, there becomes kind of like a chest puffing contest when it comes like whenever there's like two people are arguing. I mean, I've definitely felt it before when I'm when I'm talking to someone about a game that we both played, but I kind of get the impression
a chip on your shoulder a little bit.
It's like, bro, I actually, you know, worked hard to beat the hard things. You just kind of went to casual mode. It's like, I think fun, and I mean, I don't necessarily know if that necessarily makes me automatically right, but that's the thing a lot of people fall on. And I do think there is a truth that it is fundamentally a different experience, and you sometimes get different things out of the game. I think one example that most people would agree on is, and obviously this would never happen because Undertale, for example, is a game that exists. It's a metafiction game, so they wouldn't have you let you just kind of change the difficulty to but easy mode. But imagine if they did for like Sans. Like, imagine, because, like, part of the artistic expression, I would say, I think everyone would agree with this, with, like, the Sans fight, is the fact that it's way harder than the rest of the game, way more, like, cryptic and obtuse, and that's part of the experience.
Right,
and
if you remove that, around the same time, I talked about this in, like, that viral horror games video, when talking about, like, Doki Doki Literature Club, is, like, not to be... like gatekeeping about it, but like how many people who love that game have actually like played that game, or have you just watched your favorite Let's Player go through it? Because it's linear, like your decisions kind of matter a little bit in certain dialogue strings, but it's a very my thing is it's a very stretched out version of like the scary maze game. Like once you know what is going to happen, you cannot gain any additional enjoyment from that game. Whereas something like Sans, like, although that is, like, a twist, like, oh, man, this is the big final boss of the genocide route, you still need to do it. And that's an individual experience.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there is some, I just think there is some enjoyment to be had seeing other people's reactions to things.
Sure.
Especially
definitely,
for
definitely.
things that you've done before. Like, I enjoy watching streams of Deltarune after I played them, of course, because I like seeing people react to certain, like, bosses or character things or blah, 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 blah. Like, there's certain things I just enjoy seeing people react to. Like, it's a
Yeah.
bit of a guilty pleasure of mine.
No, that's fine. I'm not saying it's on the onus of like the gamer. I'm saying that Doki Doki Literature Club is a bad game because you don't need to play it. Like that's my thing is that like whether or not there's a game that you can enjoy through let's plays as opposed to watching, my stance is that it's reflective of the game more than the person. If you can, that's my thing, is if you can gain the same experience by watching it, then it probably isn't that good of a game. Because I like watching people play Deltarune and Undertale too, but it's still not the same thing as playing it. My thing is just that
Undertale 2 is Deltarune?
Oh, that's true. Well, for now it is. I saw another thing. We can't be talking about this for too long, but I saw another thing of people saying that, like, oh, yeah, you have to have played Undertale to play Deltarune because there's all these, like, clues and stuff, as if, like, anyone who's been on the internet for a decade doesn't know who Sans is just by osmosis. There's a lot of that.
Right.
It happens with, like, Marvel movies, too, where I remember me and my roommate at the time were going to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and he was ready to die on the hill. He's like, no, you have to watch What If season 2. And I'm like, Ryu, I don't think that's true. I'm pretty like, and his idea was like, oh no, this evil Doctor Strange character shows up in it. It's like, okay, but he also shows up in the movie.
Wasn't that a different evil Doctor Strange?
I don't know. Like, even then, like, it's a
Because in What If
cameo.
season
Like, I
one,
don't
there's that
need
episode
to
where there's a
know.
Doctor Strange that like tries to stop his girlfriend dying, and he like destroys the entire universe or
and
something.
If you want to watch all
But there's
the Marvel
another
stuff
evil
'cause you're,
Doctor
like,
Strange.
a fan of Marvel, that's one thing. But he also like went to go see Eternals because he said he had to, and that just sticks with me to this day.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing because, like, I think I think the point, at least in his head, is that the movies will like jingle keys at you, because like in case you've actually seen certain other elements,
and
a lot of the
rewarded
movies,
for watching more stuff, but it isn't required viewing.
yeah, a lot of them, like, I think they very much keep in mind that, you know, a lot of people seeing the movies are friends of the nerds or like family members of the nerds and are just kind of like coming along for the ride. And I think it's going to be so funny when like Doomsday comes out, because that movie is probably going to be so neglectful of like the last 8 years of Marvel.
Yeah, I
Like,
have
we're
never
just
seen
gonna
any of
avoid-
the
I
Fox
forgot about
X-Men
that.
movies, and I'm gonna sit down and be like, I don't know who these people are. This means nothing to me. I don't know what this means.
What the fuck is a Wolverine?
Yeah,
But I think, you know, for what it's worth, and this isn't to dig at you. I don't think I've seen any of the X-Men movies other than, I guess Deadpool and Wolverine, if that counts.
Right.
And the Deadpool movies, I guess. But like, there is something to be said about when someone kind of walks, like says, okay, this movie sucks. I've never seen any other movie in this series. It's like, well, I mean, like, is it? It's like I feel like that this movie might not be entirely for you then. You know what I mean? It's
No, I
like, because
understand that, but I think for the most part, Marvel is normally pretty good with that. Like the story I always
yeah, no, they
tell
definitely are.
is that like as a teenager, like I kind of fell out of them for a while, so I didn't see anything between Civil War and what's the one before Endgame? Infinity War. I didn't see anything before in between Civil War and Infinity War, but I went to go see Infinity War in theaters, and I'm like, okay, I guess Thor has short hair now, and he's missing an eye. Like, it never occurred to me that I'm like, I have to do all this research. The movie, like, there's been a lot of revisionist history and obviously superhero fatigue. I will still attest that Infinity War is a really good and tight movie because it doesn't require a lot of that explanation that like a lot of the other ones do. That Marvel's normally really good with that I mean, that was their appeal, right? Is that you could just go into the theater and see one and there was a pretty good self-contained story. The fact that like Doomsday specifically fringes on movies from the 90s is like a very
Does
shaky,
it though? I don't think
pillar.
it will, to be honest. I think it's gonna be mostly just kind of like playing with freaking like MCU stuff. I don't think it's gonna be.
I mean, I hope so. I hope that's correct because,
Yeah.
like, there's a little bit of sunk cost where, like, or not even sunk cost, but like, I like these MCU characters still, right? I was really disappointed with the new Captain America just because I really like that Sam Wilson Captain America. Like, I'm emotionally attached to these characters, and I want to see them. So the idea of what you were saying that like they're probably gonna just abandon the previous two waves of movies in recompense with like the big stuff, like bringing back big A-list actors. Like, well, no, I kind of want to see what the little Hawkeye is up to. Like that's the shit I care about. I've been watching these shows. Something tells me She-Hulk's not going to be in that movie. I'm starting to get worried.
I doubt it.
Rough.
Do you think Echo will be in the movie? Do you think Echo, everyone's favorite
Do you think
Echo, will
Werewolf
be
by
in the
Midnight
movie?
is going to be in the movie?
Do you think Marvel's Katie is going to be in the movie?
Oh,
Damn.
Actually, Marvel's Katie might be in the movie. I think Shang-Chi's probably going to be in the movie.
yeah.
But
she's Doctor Doom.
Well, it's I think Marvel's specifically interesting because, well, there's a lot of things. The first Marvel movie, well, I think I'd seen a couple ones. I think I'd seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I might have seen the Avengers one. I might have seen Iron Man. I'd seen a couple ones, but like Infinity War was the one that got me into the MCU, and I like watched everything over the next couple months. Kind of like, I was sat for Endgame, and I think I kept watching all the new stuff probably until like 2022. I'm trying to think. Well, I know actually I didn't watch the Eternals. I just was not in the mood to watch the Eternals.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Marvel kind of realized that, and I think I'd watched everything else up until that point, and then when the show started, I watched WandaVision, and it's so interesting. I don't know if you guys remember this. People were like really into WandaVision specifically.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
And then I think
I kind of regret that.
But then like I think the finale, like there was a certain kind of people kind of soured on the finale.
Yeah.
Well, and also
I think that finale
just like a short thing real quick.
That
I was so sometimes you see like advancements or like discoveries in any form of entertainment, and you're like, oh, this is the future. Everyone's gonna do this. To the point where like in a post WandaVision world, it is shocking to me that any services still drop a season all at once. Like they did that with Scott Pilgrim too, and like people kind of ran through that in a day or so. But like imagine if you don't know, there's a big twist at the end of that first episode of the Scott Pilgrim Netflix show. Imagine if that shit came out weekly. Like I love shows that come out weekly that people talk about each individual episode. And WandaVision specifically, for the first like half of it, each episode was a different genre of sitcom television. So it was like really fun. But yeah, continue with
it was a fun pastiche. And then like towards the end, it's just like, okay, this is just like MCU shit now.
Yeah.
But then I never caught. I think I watched Loki season 1. And then I never caught Falcon and Winter Soldier, and by that point, I'd already been kind of like shaken off. I didn't watch any of the other ones. Did I watch? I think I watched What If. I forget which came out, but I quickly was lost, and then I stopped watching the movies. I mean, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Personally, I just think that I really don't like WandaVision and that kind of stuff, only because I'm a little bit of like a stickler, so like it kind of like ruined things when like, because I'm also like one of 10 MODOK fans for all the people who watch the MODOK show,
right?
And Hitmonkey as well. And it's just sad that like we're never gonna see shows like that again because of how popular things like WandaVision are. Like they're not going to bank into non-MCU shows.
That's why I was so shocked that My Adventures with Superman got a season 3. And I don't know if you guys know this, but season 3 has started airing. I learned about it on accident.
I just watched the
by
new
looking
episode.
At the schedule. That like to the point where like the DCU, James Gunn's DCU seems so like not litigious, but like tightly planned to the point where like even animated shows like Creature Commandos are in canon. I did not think there was a possibility we could hear Jack Quaid's Superman again. Like I thought any other project that came before it was going to be canceled. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because this is a very easy shill for me. This is sort of the thesis of my latest Clone Wars video, that the Disney Plus TV show experiment was a little bit of a failure. And we're
Oh yeah,
seeing
totally.
these heads like Dave Filoni and Kevin Feige backpedaling to realize that they've made too many shows that have become homework, that they're like, okay, we're just gonna do them in the theaters, which is why Mandalorian and Grogu is basically just Mandalorian season 4, but like crunched into a movie. And there's a lot of that within those specific shows, to the point where, like, similarly, the most fun stuff I find in Star Wars, and I would argue that, like, Star Wars in general, the reason it got big in the first place was because it was weird and it was doing a lot of weird stuff. But now, like, if you want to make a Star Wars story, whether it be like a cartoon or a video game or a TV show, it has to be canon. So you can't do something that infringes. Like, you can't do some really weird shit. That's why,
Yeah.
although
Detours is never coming out.
Yeah, although I don't love the Force Unleashed games, I think it's respectable that they just basically made a super strong OC that beats every other character and, like, kills Luke Skywalker, just because it's so brazen in a world where even the video games are strictly canon, and it's so restrictive. Also, they finally lifted the claim on that video, so for those of you that politely did not watch that video in protest for me not getting paid, which I know you all did, now the video is monetized. Now you guys should watch it now. And if you've already watched it, watch it again anyway. Now
It's interesting. Oh, you can go.
No, actually, I have to go pee. You actually.
Oh, okay. There was like I in general. Gosh, speaking about, I forgot what we talked. I think we talked about this just because I was bringing up just like video games kind of having the same similar thing where about continuity and what you're kind of asking of your audience. But I do think the Disney Plus thing of like earlier this decade is so interesting because first of all, it was like just a heated thing. Like people were very either adamantly critical or defensive of, the Disney Plus shows. But they were not good for business, I bet. I thought it was so interesting when Ironheart had been delayed like 3 years, just pushed back over and over again. And I don't know. I think the MCU has always been so interesting to me just because it's like this massive project that theoretically has some sort of continuity, but it's so hard to keep it going for as long as it has. And there are so many
100%.
unique challenges about running something like the MCU that you don't see, at least you haven't seen historically for like any other movie franchise. So like even when I like didn't watch the movies, I would still like kind of watch the reviews because I was like so curious. Like, okay, what did people think about the new Ant-Man? Did people like the new Ant-Man? Oh no, they didn't. Or for example, like that.
Funnily enough, kind of what we were talking about with video games earlier, although it is different.
Yeah, I was
because it is a
thinking about
viewing
that.
experience that, like, when people ask me about pro wrestling, like AEW or WWE, I'm not watching the weekly products, and I say that, and they're like, "Oh, so you don't know what's going on?" I'm like, "Well, no. If there's a clip that is pertinent to me, it will come across my desk. Like, I'll see people posting about it. I am up on, like, the storylines and stuff. I'm just not watching the show. So there is sort of an argument to be had about, like, different forms of viewership. Although because games are such a specific experience, it's a little bit different. And I wanted to say this earlier, too, in, like, comparing video games as a medium to either TV shows or movies, that if you're getting a remake of your favorite movie or a remake of your favorite show, even if they try and be as respectful to the source material, it is going to be different because they need to build it from the ground up. Even if it's shot for shot, they need to do it entirely, ostensibly from scratch. As opposed to a video game that they have the infrastructure there that they really can put like a new coat of paint on it. And you said earlier that Xenoblade's like your favorite game. Oh, if not Wii game, just like favorite game. But also there's like a new version of it that you haven't played. And this happened to me last year, or I guess, I don't remember if it was this year or last year, that like Super Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite games, but that's kind of the only Nintendo release that I didn't play last year when it was added to the Switch, because I've played Mario Galaxy. Like, the experience isn't going to change that much. There are little bits that might be different. And it's the same thing when we're seeing a lot of these game announcements for the rest of the year. Is I like Rayman, and I'm excited to see that maybe we could be seeing a Rayman resurgence. But also, all the new game is making me think is like, oh yeah, I like Rayman Legends. This is a game I already like. And that arguably could be an easy in because it's a game that I already like. But also, like, if I want to play Rayman Legends, I could just play Rayman Legends. And I feel like more and more I'm getting kind of not seasoned or turned off, but like just a lot of the announcements we saw were not even just remakes, but specific ports of old collections. I know that it's sort of Atari's MO right now, and we can get into the Donkey Kong Challenge in a little bit, but I think this is the perfect transition as well. That allegedly, I don't actually know, I couldn't find the original like website listing where this was listed, but what we learned over the past week is that there was a description tied to the Ocarina of Time remake. And in the description it said, the N64 classic reborn as a full remake for Nintendo Switch 2. Experience Ocarina of Time with stunning visuals, updated designs, and timeless gameplay. And then people got very specific about the line timeless gameplay to the point where they removed it from the listing. Now, we talked about this last week as well. Do we think this Ocarina of Time remake is going to be more modern? It's going to be something akin to Final Fantasy VII, going to be something akin to Breath of the Wild, or is this legitimately an HD remaster that plays exactly like Ocarina of Time? Do we think that this tagline means anything specifically?
I mean,
where was the listing again?
Be like
I don't actually
It could just be like a play on words, because timeless, Ocarina
Right.
of Time, the whole thing with like,
Yeah, it could be something like that. I mean, it could just be like some shit someone says. I mean, I say shit all the time, But
at the same time, I have to wonder what their plan is if it's not a complete overhaul. Because again, I mentioned this last week, you can play Ocarina of Time on every single console from the N64 up until the Switch 2. Like, you can play it on every console, so there's a way to play it no matter what. And it's not like it's an outdated game. Like, yeah, there were some outdated mechanics, but for the most part, like, things still work pretty well. Like, there's nothing that's too frustrating. Like, yeah, maybe like the water temple, maybe some shooting gallery, stuff like that.
But even that was rectified in the 3DS version.
Exactly, and that was that's what I'm saying. Yes, it was rectified in the 3DS version. My thing is, like, if it's not going to be like a Final Fantasy VII-esque remake, then why even do a remake like this?
Especially if it's
Money.
probably going to be their holiday game.
money.
I think it has to be bigger.
I think it is. I think it is. I mean, like, if they thought it was good enough to, show off at the end of the direct, I think it is supposed to be the big holiday game this year. Especially, well, wait, did they say it was coming out this year? They did, right?
It just says 2026, I believe.
Okay, then yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely sure it's going to come out like probably sometime this year, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, if there was any game they were gonna do something like this with, I guess Ocarina of Time makes sense. I mean, there was a point in time where like every single game published, like I guess games journalism publisher or whatever would kind of list Ocarina as number one of the greatest games ever. So that's very much the kind of reputation Ocarina has. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are just kind of sick of this. I mean, I haven't seen many people just be very, maybe it's because there's already so much backlash to it, but I haven't seen anyone, very, I don't want to say naive, because that's kind of like an unfair way to just, like, no one who's just kind of like totally happy about this, who's just like thrilled about this and has nothing bad to say. I haven't seen anyone like that.
Well, I think it's just part that like we don't have any gameplay either. Like, this is
that. Yeah, it's part of it.
But like, I would say brazen because it sounds more like vitriolic than I'm meaning for it to sound. But like, this is a game that they're saying comes out in 2026, and this is early June, so by the end of this month we will be halfway through 2026. So there's only like 6 months that it could feasibly come out, and I think having a game come out in 6 months and not knowing how
what
it
it looks
plays
like,
is a little. Well, we know what it looks like, sort of, but like
not really.
we don't know what the gameplay looks like,
because we don't know if that like model of Link is like some in-engine shit or some like or some just pre-rendered thing.
Right.
And also people were like making fun of the model as well.
I just think the lighting doesn't do it any favors. I have to see it like a lot brighter and like hidden. I don't need it to be cell shaded, but I hope it is more saturated. I want those greens to be very, very green for a game like this to work.
For sure.
Exact same, 100%.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah, because I guess like a comparable size of this release, like a game that I think they're really trying to drum up like this. I feel like if this is supposed to come out in like November or December, if I had to guess, and if I didn't know how they were going to do it, I would have imagined it. And you asked me last year, they're like, hey, Switchy, an Ocarina of Time release, a remake is coming out next year as like the big December holiday game. How do you think they're going to announce it during the directs? I would have probably guessed like during March, somewhere in the spring, they do something similar to, Smash Ultimate, where there's like a teaser cutscene that's played at the end of the direct, and they show a more full-on like gameplay trailer, maybe next direct, and then they start kind of, drumming things up over the next few months, and then it comes out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is coming a little bit late, but I don't know. I mean, things are weird. Things aren't always the same. It's not really.
Possible.
I will say, I did read something online, and I doubt that this is going to be the case, but like, I think this would be really cool if this was the case. They're saying that like something that'd be really cool is if this was not only Ocarina, but also like kind of like a post game that bridged the gap between Ocarina and Majora. Like what happens between him finishing Ocarina and the beginning of Majora's Mask. And I think that'd be really
I could see them doing something like that, honestly.
Well.
Like that would be apropos, especially for the way they usually seem to do remakes nowadays. There's always, I think they tend, for all the shit we say, like I think they do often introduce some sort of new story content.
Now it's our junior story.
I agree that it would be cool. I don't think they're going to do it because...
Oh, they're not going to do it. No.
Yeah, because
nothing good ever happens. Life sucks.
Do 3D Zelda games have a post game?
Breath
of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Every time, if you've beat the game, if you load up,
you just like load back up near to the final boss.
Right before the final boss.
You said 3D, so the answer is no. But if it's 2D, the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, that's just my only thing is that I don't see them doing a post game because. Unless there's additional, I could see them doing additional content for sure, but I think that the game ends with that Ganon fight, because a lot of the Zelda games do. And you could always go back. What's interesting to note too is that technically the Link's Awakening remake also ended off a direct, and that had like a big animated trailer, but it also
that was
had
also gameplay.
In
the spring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did.
I don't think it's impossible that we could get a direct.
That came out in like September, though. To be fair, I don't know how much that really changes. But
we could get a direct in September because, like, regardless of stuff moving around, there has been a September direct every year.
Yeah,
so, like,
I think we might get gameplay sooner than that. I wouldn't be. I mean, especially because they're now willing to dead drop trailers out of nowhere a little more often.
They could just do a direct.
Like I could see them just showing like another trailer sometime this month. Or not this month, this summer. I could see them doing that, or just maybe doing it in like September.
On Star Fox, at least for the time being, and then also
Star Fox, yeah.
I don't think they care about Splatoon Raiders at all because I haven't seen anything. I think maybe come
there's
July.
There's a Splatoon Raiders direct at the end of this month. It's June 30th,
I forgot about that. You're right.
That's okay.
I can't wait to not watch that.
Right. Well, Star Fox is next Thursday, so there's no way we're getting more info on. I mean, I don't want to say no way, never say never, but the game's coming out. I think it's gonna be in our hands pretty soon. I assuming that like a September direct happens like after Fire Emblem, then we only have Nintendo Switch Sports Resort
until maybe
it was
2021.
called Tears of the Kingdom in 2023.
It
was called Tears of the Kingdom in 22. Yeah, E3 2019. It was. They said like, hey, there's a sequel to Breath of the Wild at E3 2019.
Oh yeah, you're right. So that's crazy.
And did they show Ganondorf at that? I think they did. Right?
No. Yes, they showed his corpse. Yeah.
Yeah, the corpse of Ganondorf.
Right.
When was the first trailer?
Well, I mean, arguably at 2019, because I think 2019 showcase ended with that. And that because it was after Banjo, right?
Oh,
They
yes,
showed
it was
Banjo
after.
and then showed
Fuck,
sequel to
that was
Breath of the
Banjo.
Wild. I only bring this up
Was it
because
delayed?
I mean,
It was delayed, 100%.
I don't know if we know, but like not publicly.
Okay, yeah,
Like they
yeah,
just said
okay,
it's in
that makes.
development.
Because I'm trying to remember, like, was there a? Because I mean, I think one of the first things I'd also thinking about how early Tears of the Kingdom was announced is like, oh, did they not learn anything from Metroid Prime 4? It's like, hey, this game's coming out in 7 years.
Yeah, I guess
but
it's
like,
a different story because it is very clearly just built on the Breath of the Wild engine to the point where like
that's why
just,
it's
like,
interesting it took so long. Yeah, well, because I remember Breath of the Wild was delayed. They delayed that. I
Oh,
remember.
yeah, I mean,
I
that
remember
was
the
supposed
video
to be
of
like
like
the Wii U seller, and then it
yeah,
is actually the same story as Metroid Prime. That the console it was meant to come out on, it's sort of like the last game to come out on that console, and it was a cross release because of that.
There's something kind of poetic about that. Like there is, like if Metroid Prime 4 was like a really, really good game, like I would find that sort of beautiful. Like I would be able to say like Metroid Prime 4 was like the prodigal son or some shit.
Well, now
but it
Rhythm
ended up
Heaven
being
Groove is
like
the sign-off
kind
to
of
the
good.
Switch. I mean, there might be more Switch 1 games, or definitely third
Are
parties.
there
But
Just Dance games coming out for the Wii, or is that not a thing anymore?
I think it stopped with 2020. I think that was the last one to come out for the Wii. But,
I think you're right.
For a while. I could see like people are still gonna put shovelware on the Switch, but also apparently they updated the eShop on the Switch 1 so that it runs a lot faster now, and a lot of people are upset that they could have.
Yeah,
done
but they
this
got
the
rid of
whole
the
time.
animation.
Yeah.
Like how hard is it to run a Switch like an eShop? That's especially because like everything's a solid color. There's no 3D models. Like I don't know. It must be some like React shit.
Yeah, it probably was like built on the bones of the Virtual Console or the eShop before it, and then they figured out how to do it more into the years, and they're like, okay, well now we could probably fix this retroactively. But yeah, I think I mean I hope. Well, I don't want people to be closed off of games, you know, if they can't get a Switch 2, but you know, for the Switch 2's sake, I hope that Rhythm Heaven Groove is the last Switch game developed for it. There was actually, let me find this real quick. There was a I think I sent it to you guys, a visual that they posted to their, I guess their Twitter account. Yeah. Over here, this is really strange
It's very
like,
funny
placement and verbiage. If I want to open the image over here, that they have these Switch 2 games, and then they have down here games that are on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. And for some reason, Rhythm Heaven Groove is just in this little Switch.
Is it because there's no like Switch 2 edition or what?
But you can still play it on the Switch 2. Like,
yeah,
I don't
weird.
understand.
Is there specific content for Switch 2 with the other games? Because that's the only explanation I can think of.
I have to imagine like maybe it's because like maybe like the mouse mode thing. Like maybe there's mouse mode stuff for like for example, Deltarune has a mouse mode thing.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna be right back. Sorry, I'm gonna step out for a sec.
As well. So which is funny too, because it's like Rhythm Heaven seems like the perfect game to adapt like a mouse mode for.
I'm also
like
pretty
as
sure
an extra thing.
there are games like Ring Fit that you can't play on the Switch 2 because the Joy-Cons are different. Like they won't fit into the circle.
The last WarioWare game that came out on Switch, you cannot play on Switch 2.
Well, while Switch is away, did you do any of the DK challenge over here?
I did, yeah. I did. So did you do that or no?
I did not, no. I've been on a Deltarune crunch again.
So it's very funny because it is two halves where one half is the retro stuff that is so fucking easy. Even the hard stuff is really easy.
Really?
Like, it's all easy.
I would not expect that from Donkey Kong Country.
Well, it helps that you can rewind. Like, they don't penalize you for rewinding. But it's very easy. It's literally just beat these levels and then beat the final boss of DKC 1. And then on the other half is Bonanza, which is so funny because they expect like frame precision perfection from you for so many of these challenges. Like you have to beat certain challenges in under a certain time, and it is so difficult to do these. Like I took a break and I don't know when I'm gonna go back to it. I got most of them, but some of those developer challenges are fucking wild.
Well, it's like it's a limited time thing, right? It runs until September.
Yeah, until end of August, beginning of September. So maybe I'll go back to it, but like I literally And there's some BS ones too. Like I never ever like those do all of this at your weakest form, and the challenge has not only one but two of them, and I really hate that. Like I really hate that.
I guess I have an opportunity to try. I don't know why it didn't occur to me when we saw Big Walk in the Direct. It's just now clicking that this is gonna be on the Switch too, because I'm so used to like, oh yeah, that's a friend slap game. I'm gonna play it on the computer. This lineup is so funny. The fact that Minecraft is all the way up here, like it's not a new. This is just Minecraft.
Although I will say it does look fantastic on Switch too. Like they made it clear like it's going to be a very different looking game than on Switch 1. So
and they listed Emerald Rush here because there's Mario stuff in it right now. This is really.
I'm surprised that Piku Niku 2 is just a Switch 2 game. It does not look like it would be difficult to run on Switch 1. Not a complaint. I love Piku Niku 2.
Is it an exclusive to the Switch 2, or is it like a next gen?
It seems like it's a exclusive to the Switch 2 for the fact that it's like not listed with Switch as well.
No, I mean, like, is it exclusive to Nintendo consoles, or is it like a cross-platform?
Oh no, definitely not. There's definitely going to be Steam at least.
Right. They grandfathered Piku Niku in as a series. Also, listen, we got a lot of other stuff going on here. Apparently, Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition exists, and I tried to look into the original Reddit post, and it has been removed via being a spoiler, which probably points to it being correct. And also, you can now use a capture card with your Switch 2 to stream...
Watch American Dad.
Yeah, stream screens from your computer and share them via this. I can't wait for us to really delve into how this works. But also, I've been checking in on Ninjala, and this is sort of a bit we started last year talking about Ninjala. It's like, oh yeah, there's a whole anime series actually coming out. But with the announcement of Ninjala 2, they've announced... Well, these are... The channel was dead for 2 years, and then on their Twitter account, they started announcing like, oh, and the episodes are coming back to the YouTube channel. Like, this is available until June 18th, specifically 8 p.m. So we have 2 days to watch episode 219 of Ninjala. And like, this is sort of part of the direct too, that like, this is like Demon Slayer, Tokyo Revenge. This is kind of a huge series, and it's weird that it was stuck within a live service game that wasn't very good and shut down. That now I'm glad it's getting a second life with Ninjala 2, that it actually gets to be a real video game. Anything more over here? Yeah, just looking at the image of that. I think that is, for the most part, what
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, this is perfect timing. That means we can get to our regular segments of our Smash Bros. Roster. Our 40 characters, this roster that we have cut it down, distilled to. That means this week, so far, we have done Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, and Samus. Man, if only we saved on Link, we could have done more Ocarina stuff. But, evidently, the fact that we had to push off an additional week because last week was such a big deal, now we get to do a moveset for Yoshi after having played the new Yoshi game for a little bit of time. Now, let me ask you guys, if you have played Yoshi and that fuck-ass book, is there anything introduced in that game that would be worth adding to his moveset in a new Smash Bros. Game? Interesting.
I haven't played it, so I don't think I could really say.
Change. There's nothing in his moveset that changes.
Nothing inherent to Yoshi, but there's like a lot of... That's my thing, is that, like, there's a lot of these characters we're coming across that most of my ideas are more like, oh, they should add this character. I was attesting for a while that, like, a new Pikmin character they should add is Ochi, and you could argue the same for, like, Poochie, right, for the Yoshi series.
Right.
But, yeah, there's a lot of, like, new secondary characters introduced, but not a lot of it is moveset related. Unless you want to do his move where, like, he swings his tail at them to put them on his back. I realize this, too.
Which, I mean, it's like... I mean, is that even like a... Like, what would that be specifically? Like, maybe the side tilt?
Well, I was looking at this moveset, and you see it specifically with Peach, you know, her side B, that is a reference to nothing she has ever done in her game. That a lot of these characters, you just choose the most defined... parts of
what's
their
like an
model.
easy body part that's easy for us to animate?
Tail.
I mean, I'm just trying to think, honestly. The only, like, right now, the only thing off the top of my head isn't even a moveset. It's just bring in his crafted world, like, as an alt costume. but that might be more like the crafted. No, I'm sorry, not crafted world.
Wasn't that already in?
Not the crafted world. I meant the fuck ass
woolly
book.
one?
Bringing the fuck ass book design as like an alt costume. Get rid of that crafted world
like
thing
the
because that
painted
thing
style.
looks ugly
Or
as
like
sin.
I think we
Yeah.
kind of did this with Mario. That like I want Mario to look like his Wonder design, and I want Donkey Kong to look like his Bonanza design. I don't think you do an alternate skin. I think you kind of just like not redo, because that's like too much. But like I think all of the characters should look like their most recent outing. Of course, with the exception of Link, because
it's a little different with Yoshi.
Does that apply to
Yoshi
Star
still
Fox?
looks like Yoshi.
Yes, honestly, yeah, but
no.
we'll get to
Yeah.
that.
Okay, dude. I kind of admire you for being like
Here's the thing,
gangster like that.
Next week we're gonna do Kirby, and then we're gonna play Star Fox, and then we could cover Star Fox. So we'll have a lot to say.
With Yoshi, with his fuck ass book, technically his design is still the same. It's only when he goes into the fuck ass book that he looks like painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing is
I
that
think
like there's multiple Yoshi colors in the mysterious book, and you could just have him always look painted, and then I see what you're saying, that it's like a different thing altogether. My thing is, if they're
it's a
going
little
to do a
different.
specific costume like that, it can't just be green again. Like, it needs to be its own distinct color, because that was my issue with the crafted design, is that it looks too similar to just base Yoshi.
My issue with that design is that it looks fucking ugly. It is so gross. It might be my least favorite alt costume they've ever done.
That's fair, but
There's
again,
some
like
real
it's
stinkers.
just green Yoshi. Like, he looks weird, but it's just green Yoshi. But the moveset itself, like throwing the egg, using the tongue, using the tail, I do admire. Now that I get to look at these moves individually, I do admire a lot of their design. The fact that his down air is a multi-hit like flutter, I really like.
Yeah, no, I fuck with the down air. That's like one that I'm not
Yeah.
gonna touch.
I
Yeah.
We're
mean,
not touching
the
down air.
one thing I think, like, and I don't even know how you could implement this, is that for his up special, I don't think this is a thing, but like maybe add in the aiming. Like, doesn't he just automatically throw it?
You can kind of, I think you can
hold it.
kind of move
Wait,
it
can
back
you?
and forth based on how
Yeah, but,
hard
like,
you,
can-
how
Yeah,
you
can
go
arc
up.
it.
I think you're right, but like maybe
You're
add
saying
the
there should be
reticle?
like a
I don't
reticle.
know. Yeah, like in the games.
Okay.
I would
That's, like,
I
the
would
one
agree with
thing I can
that.
think of.
I'd be partial to that for like just the aesthetic flavor, but I don't know. I feel like, especially because it is, even though it's not the main part of his recovery, it still kind of plays that role. I'd be a little hesitant about complicating it like that, just from like, I don't know, unless you're really willing to completely change the way I guess he plays. Like if it's going to be small differences, there might be some issues that come from that, but that's pretty much all I'd have to
I don't know,
say.
this might be
Like,
the
Well, the
perfect
thing is that
character
Yoshi's
design.
up B was never like good for recovery anyway. It was only good
Right.
for
Yeah,
It's
a little
gotten
bit
better
of
throughout the
I
series,
think
but it used to do
people
nothing.
do it. People do it, I think, just just to get that extra jump, but honestly, it doesn't always make that much of a difference.
What you
Yeah.
could do is have the egg be the down special, and then have his side special be the aiming one. Because my thinking is that, like, oh, well, we just gave Mario a ground pound. Maybe Yoshi doesn't need one. But this is kind of integral to Yoshi's design, and it is a specific move that you have to do in the mysterious book, and also, a gatekeep for playing Yoshi's story if you're a teenager and get stuck in it like I did. Yeah, no, unfortunately, this might be like the perfect Smash Bros.
I mean,
character design.
unless you could think of like a different Final Smash. But even then, like, the only Final Smash I could think of is Woshi, like the big Yoshi.
Oh, the double
But that's
Yoshi explosion.
Specifically for, well, yeah, but that's specifically for Wooly. So you'd have to
Right.
like make him his Wooly self, and I don't know if that would work. Meanwhile, the Yoshi Stampede makes sense in my opinion.
Yeah,
like, 'cause
it's
that's
part of
a
me was
reference to
thinking-
Melee.
It's like Giga
That
Bowser.
Melee
It's
reference.
specifically a reference to Smash Bros. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that
Part
really
of me was
worked
thinking
well.
like, integrate like his maybe like the island transformation somehow, but I don't even know if that would be that interesting.
That could work, but like that also, the thing is, like, they're done with doing transformation things that aren't like instantaneous.
What was the deal with the 3DS
Well, no, I was thinking
game
of-
and the giant egg? Didn't he have a giant egg
Oh,
in
that
the
was
3DS
New
game?
Island. Yeah, that was
Right.
just it was not a good game.
You don't want to do a giant egg.
Do people
for Final
hate New
Smash?
Island. People hate. I mean, Yoshi's a pretty simplistic moveset, but I've never really taken much issue with it.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue like it's weird that he like kicks for his up smash or like kicks for he again has a sex kick like all the other melee characters do.
Maybe they can get rid of the sex kick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's like I like the sex kick, but that's only because it's a sex kick.
Right,
No, I think
like if
it's
it wasn't
because
called
they
the
all
sex
do it.
kick,
You gotta have the sex kick. It's the sex kick, for God's sake.
Right. Well, well, up smash, neutral air. You keep the down air because it's the flutter jump, but like those are the only kicking base moves that aren't the flutter, or I guess the jab also. But that's like fine. I don't know. Maybe just like changing the jab to also a tail move, but then we're sort of.
There's a lot of tail moves already. I mean, honestly,
Right.
this might just be the perfect thing.
That's what I'm saying. I think what we've learned on this show is that this is the like Yoshi is the perfect no notes like you.
I think
cannot
we
fix.
really learned on this
Okay.
show that like Super Smash Bros is a really well conceptualized game series.
Yeah, we haven't honestly
like-
changed as much as people thought we would. And
I
Now,
think a
next
lot of
week-
people change
next
shit
week
for the
I
sake
have
of
some
changing
notes.
shit.
Right.
Well, and that's funny. I was looking at someone's Kirby ideas, and I was like thinking, like, dude, I think I'd prefer to just play normal Kirby. It's like, does he have
No,
to have like
Kirby
one of
is
his copy abilities for every single
Kirby's
move? Like, I don't know.
definitely a character I have a lot more issues with, because I just think that he's underutilized.
Yeah.
I think he has so much more of a potential moveset, and I can't wait to talk about him next week because there's some stuff I definitely want to go into with that.
I mean,
100%.
in doing this, like getting a specific shot, because a lot of these are better conveyed via like footage or GIFs, like seeing the move in action. So having to like find a specific impact frame that like speaks to the move has like gotten me a newfound respect for this moveset, for a lot of these movesets, the like intention of all of these moves. Like when you're seeing this is the side special, you're not really seeing what's happening here. The egg roll. Does he?
What do you
actually
guys think
do the egg
about the
roll
new?
Oh no, go ahead.
What do you guys think about the neutral special and the grab being kind of like very? I mean, the grab, you don't turn them into an egg, but they are kind of similar in that sense. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like,
Well, no, that's the same thing in like Yoshi's Island. Is that some enemies can't be turned into eggs, so you grab them.
Well, yeah, I know that. I'm just thinking, like, is there room to kind of like bring something else into either his grab or his neutral special?
I mean,
but I don't know.
If I'm changing any special, I'm changing the egg roll, quite honestly, because it's not.
Yeah, because does he egg roll that often?
I don't think he ever like goes inside an egg, does he? Like as a part of his moves in any game. But that's why I'm thinking,
only
like,
played really Yoshi's Island that much.
We could maybe
I don't
change
know.
the up special
think
and then
so.
have what Dan was saying earlier, where he's like aiming the egg be the side special, sort of like how
I'd be down for that.
Snake's side special, he stands still and starts aiming.
Yeah, I'd be down for that, honestly. Make.
The question is, what then?
If they wanna, like, I was thinking, like, maybe for the up special, because I like one of the things that kind of came to me, as I said earlier, was like, this implementing, the transformations, not necessarily as actual transformations, but just parts of his movesets. Like, I don't know, maybe he just turns into a helicopter or has some sort of helicopter-esque attack. But that would change the way Yoshi plays
woolly.
very deeply.
Well,
you
you could
know what I
also-
mean?
I thought you
Okay,
meant like
so-
the Koopa shell transformations, where like his
So-
old Final Smash that used to be Super Dragon Yoshi, which was a
I would say,
reference
so
to.
if you remember from Brawl, that he does have that final smash, and that could work as like an up special because
He gains
they
the
never got
wings.
rid of the wings. Yeah, the
Yeah.
wings have kind of been a thing for a little bit now. In Woolly World, like he has the wings, like if you want to do casual mode, for example.
Mhm.
I think it's the same for Yoshi's New Island, but I don't want to play that game again to remember.
You probably. I imagine it's the same thing with like the woolly or the crafted Yoshi, where it's less that it's bad and more that it's just the same thing. Like it's just this again. So yeah, we can.
It's
grab,
also bad.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Okay, okay. Yoshi. Let's look into this. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. It's interesting that the first thing I find when looking this up is specifically, the egg throw gif from Smash Bros. And like it makes sense on the ground, but it's a weird recovery. I'm looking for
It
a
is a weird
specific one
recovery.
where
It's
like,
not
it
much
has
of a
the
recovery.
reticle also, because I think the reticle is important to aiming. Yeah,
They
we
have
could
the
do-
reticle on Yoshi's Island. I know that.
Yeah.
They have the reticle in like every game, basically.
There's the little crafted image. So that's what we're looking at basically. The side Oh wait, no, sorry, no, we're already doing that. My mistake. It's the up special we're looking for, which is the
Yes, right.
It's
the
called
wing.
Super Dragon Yoshi in Brawl, but there's also like a specific, this. What it's in reference to is in Super Mario World, when Yoshi swallows different Koopa shells, they give him different abilities, whether that be the breathing fire or the wings. What do the blue shells do?
Dude, I low-key forgot. What do they do? Fuck.
Because it's yellow that makes him fly and red that makes him shoot fireballs.
Does it make him run fast? I forget. Like, what? Let me search that up.
Yeah, what are they?
Blue
If I look up...
Shelly.
No, this is just Mario Kart. Blue Yoshi. I know Blue Yoshi. You can look up Koopa abilities. I mean, I think we're set here. Because, yeah, similar to something like a Pikmin character.
I've always liked the gimmick of like of his of his recovery being his double jump. Like on some level, like I don't know, it's unique about him for what it's worth.
Like the recovery isn't as important because he has that flutter jump. So maybe this is more of like what's what I'm going for? You know, after Banjo-Kazooie, they do their recovery, then the wings kind of flap like a Looney Tunes character a little bit in the sky, and then they plummet. Maybe the wings are a lot weaker. Maybe it like you do the flutter jump, and then the up B, like the egg throw, gives you a little boost, and then you slowly hover down as the wings flap.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Maybe.
Because that way it serves the same function, but it's more of an abject reference. Because it's not really the special we're focusing on changing. It's making the egg aim be a bigger part of the moveset. Here's my thing, though. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I don't remember if Olimar has 5 or 7 Pikmin. But
5.
It's a lot of 5 Pikmin.
5.
And then in later games, they changed it to 3. Do we have a mechanic where Yoshi can, like, have multiple eggs behind him? Would that even change anything?
Well, I don't think the eggs can't follow him, right? Like he just drops them, and they just, the
Well, I mean, in his
other
source
opponent.
games, if you have a trail of eggs, they'll, like, trail behind you.
Yeah,
So
I know that.
like,
yeah.
You spawn in with 3 eggs, and then you could use them, and then if you need to replenish your eggs, or are we overcomplicating this with a new
I don't think it's necessary. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a way to reference that specific game mechanic where he has multiple eggs at once that trail behind him.
well, I mean, we already have the egg throw with the reticle. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of enough. Like, just
I think that might be
the
good
feature
enough.
in his games where he can kind of
let me
just
get this
throw
right
eggs and shit.
Yoshi. Get this reticle. Well, yeah, I think this is a like we've been struggling to add stuff to this, but I really do think that I'm learning that this is kind of the best designed Smash Bros. Character. There's really no notes here whatsoever. They immediately hit it out of the park. Not immediately, because his moves do change. The recovery was changed a little bit, but I think that and we're keeping the Final Smash, right? Like I know we grew up with older games, so we're tempted to go back, but I think his Final Smash is good.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Stampede is it does something that no other Final Smash does. It's just unique. It's fun. I like it.
Right. I mean, in the sense that like it references Melee.
It references Melee. It's kind of a memorable like visual from Melee. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's cute. Like I don't know. It's like I don't think sometimes I think, as I said, I think people kind of overrate like how close things need to be to the games they come from to be valuable or good in Smash. Like I don't really necessarily know. I believe that
this segment is a thought experiment, and also like kind of just counting down the days, watching paint dry. Of like, okay, well, we have these 40 characters. Let's go through these before we start talking about anything else. Because the fun part of Smash Speculation, the part everyone likes doing, are the new characters, right? It's not as fun to retool older characters, although there is a discussion to be had there. So we'll see if there's any more Smash information in 35 weeks' time. But I doubt it. So when we get to K-Rool, then we'll start, like, pitching characters, but this is really just to bridge the gap until we finally get to that Smash speculation scene. But I think for Yoshi, that is it today. And next week we'll jump into Kirby. And the week after that, after playing a little bit of Star Fox, we're going to have to... So we're not changing the Yoshi design. He's staying like this?
Yeah.
All right. That means we can lead into.
Give him a Boshi. We'll give him a Boshi skin though.
You're saying the blue Yoshi
please,
should
for the
have
love
like
of God.
additional. Well, should these Yoshi? We've talked about like different costumes a lot. I honestly would like to have like an own separate thing talking about that, because I think that there's a lot of costumes you can do in Smash that they just really aren't capitalizing on. I honestly think that from a cynical stance, like we've talked about, like, oh, cutting the roster is realistic if you want to like redux the game a little bit. But I think the most realistic thing that could happen with the modern gaming landscape is that Smash Bros has like a battle pass where you have all the characters, but there's like a different skin that comes out every now and then, and you could buy like dozens upon dozens of skins for a very specific character. I could see that being the future of Smash, and there's a lot, specifically like Donkey Kong and Yoshi, there's a lot that you can do with that wouldn't change their hitbox too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we get into our weekly Nintendo Direct, which we'll end off the show with, do you guys have anything more to cover this week? I haven't been to the theater in like a while, and when I went to see the Circus movie. I don't think I've actually seen a new movie in theaters in like a month, and I'm getting the itch a little bit.
No, I got nothing. I mean, I might see Disclosure Day this weekend, and if I do, I'll let you know how that is. But other than that, really got nothing. Nothing more to report on.
You don't want to talk about Chimptopia?
No, I don't want to talk about Chimptopia.
Maybe another day.
Chimptopia. Let's jump into Nintendo Direct. January, February, March, April 17th, 2013. This is where we left off, I believe. And this is a 36-minute Nintendo Direct. And there they are, the Mario Brothers.
Hello, everyone.
I think
This
last
is
time
I didn't know they were real.
From Nintendo.
Yeah, that's their third brother. I think the big thing
Mario
last
is real
time was
life.
I'll share with
the
you
Direct last week was
information
the big
about
year of
Nintendo
Luigi
3DS.
Direct, right? It was
Direct.
really disappointing.
Watched Direct last week.
With
No, I mean, like,
our
the last one
last
we covered.
Nintendo Direct in February,
But now
think
we
you're
are
right,
we
in
are
yeah.
2013.
broadcasting this Nintendo Direct
It's a bleak era for a
simultaneously
while, but it'll
worldwide.
pick up.
Thank you
eventually.
for joining us today.
It's
First,
also just naturally
since
kind of quite
this
quiet.
is the year of Luigi,
Oh, this is the
I'd
year of
like
Luigi.
to follow
Is there like
additional information
I forget what it's
about
called,
the
stable
new
audio
upcoming
mode.
game
You might want to turn that on, and that
that
make it
features
easier.
Luigi.
Like over
First,
here, or like in.
I'd like to share.
Yeah,
more
sometimes they
details
have that. I don't know if there's.
Mario
I
I
don't
know
think
if they
I
have
might
it
not
for the
seen it in a while.
2013 video. I
Oh,
think it
Dream
just keeps
Team,
playing.
Dream Team.
title
Yeah, they
to
showed
Oh, hell
us
yeah,
last
I
time,
don't
they're
like
look
the
at
game.
Luigi in action, but
Today,
he's like
we would like to
sleeping.
focus more on the story and new gameplay added to the game.
Gameplay.
The story takes place on the island called Pilo Island,
It
where
really is
mysterious
interesting how
rings exist.
the way they both evolved
The story
from a design
begins
standpoint, maybe
when
because they were both
Mario
on 3DS,
and others
how
are invited to this
similar at a
island
certain
for
point
sightseeing,
Mario and Luigi and
while
Paper Mario
everyone
look.
is
Like,
touring
specifically
the
like
island.
NPC designs.
Princess
and there's only
Peach
so
is
much you can
mysteriously
do
kidnapped
with those
and
like handheld
pulled
designs.
into a dream world.
It's also crazy to
The
me
gate to
that
this
this
dream
game
world
came out in what,
only
2013,
appears
and then
when
the
Luigi
fucking
sleeps on a
Bowser's
special
Inside
pillow
Story
with
remake came out in
magical power.
2019.
So
Yeah.
Mario must go back
Like,
and
my
forth
God.
between
Didn't the Bowser's Inside
real
Story
world
remake like do
and
like shit?
Luigi's dream world.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
it came out in
that was
2019.
like the worst selling
and it's a
Mario
remake
game.
of a game
In the
you
real
could
world,
play on the 3DS.
Mario and Luigi must cooperate with each other.
Did I need to? I need to like get into.
challenge.
I never finished Bowser's Inside Story.
The familiar
I never really
brother
got
the
into
best
the
one.
which inflict
Mario and Luigi.
greater
No, I was like a
Peach was
kid,
bad.
so I got to the
Battle
final
features.
battle and I lost, and I'm like,
Also
I don't think I'm good enough
Brother
for this.
shit
I never
was
beat it.
There are more new actions.
Now that I think
honestly,
about
like,
it,
Her jam.
Now that I'm a
And the
grown ass
final
man,
thing
I'd probably
is
beat the games
visuals
pretty
of
easy.
Nintendo 3DS
yeah, now that I
to
think
create
about it too,
exciting new
I
battle
do think
sequences.
that Sticker Star
Especially
really fucks
during
things
battles.
up about
There
those
are
two
more
series,
new
because it
action
makes
and
way
visual
more sense
presentations
for Paper
which
Mario
utilize
to
the
be a
Nintendo
console
3DS
series
system's
and Mario and
unique
Luigi to be a
features.
handheld
So
series,
the game
and
offers a
keeping
wide
them
variety
separate.
of gameplay
Obviously, you know, in
experiences.
the era of the Switch, you
In the
can't
dream
do that.
world,
but there was
the
a period
player
of time
must
before the
interact
Switch
with sleeping
where,
Luigi
like,
on the
2D
bottom top
Zelda
screen
games were on
to make
the
changes
handheld,
on
and
a
3D
game
Zelda
field
games were on the
and
console.
solve puzzles in the upper
2D
screen.
Mario games, arguably,
In
for
addition,
a little bit, were
the
on
player
handhelds,
must
and
control
then they
a
made their way
large
to
number
console,
of
but the 3D
Luigis
Mario games
to
were always going
advance
to be
through a
on
level,
the,
or use those
home
Luigis
consoles.
to run
And the
over
same
a
goes for
group of
Metroid.
enemies
Also,
in
like
battle.
all the 2D Metroid
There are
games,
many
which was a
fun
handheld
and
series
dynamic
for a
action
good
in this
decade.
game.
while Metroid Prime was the
Mario
the home
and
console
Luigi Dream
version.
Team will be
And
out.
It fundamentally gives
And in the
gives
Nintendo
like
eShop
Nintendo
on
as a company the
August 11th.
opportunity to be a little bit more flexible with like
You
the
are very
scale of their
busy
games. I
now,
think
since there are
because
so many
like
games
3DS or
featuring
DS
Luigi.
is just well, first of all, it's a different it's a different function. There's two screens and stuff, but also
Oh,
you know
there are
it's a less
so many
powerful
Luigis
it's less
here?
powerful hardware. So the way the games that are developed are very different. They're more stylized and
Whoa,
stuff.
he did- wait,
and I
did he
think
just
there
do
are
the
some
Switch
benefits
sound?
to that.
Is new information on the game we
Oh,
introduced
new game?
in February.
I swear he just did the Switch
The
sound
latest
effects.
installment in the Mario Golf series,
Right.
Mario Golf World Tour.
Shadow Water, they're behind you.
I thought he said Mario World, but he said
There
Mario
is
Golf.
I heard
still
Mario
a
World
little
too,
time
yeah.
Before we release
He had
this
them
game.
confused.
But since this
This
is
game's
a global
actually
Nintendo Direct,
internally referred to as
I
Mario
wanted
World
to take
6.
this opportunity to deliver to all of you
The
information about
name World is in
wireless
it,
features.
so
You
True.
can look.
They got
This
everything
this
you could
game
ever
was
need.
actually internally
suspect
referred to
that
as Doki Doki
based
Panic
on
Golf.
the
Yeah.
title.
Well, like,
World
I'm, to
Tour.
our point, like, I'm
You may
glad
already
You know, Tame
that
Impala is just one guy.
Metroid
If
Dread
you
is
connect
like
your
a
Nintendo
really
3DS to
fantastic
the
game.
internet,
It has its own unique art
you can
direction,
play
and that Wonder has its own
competitive
unique art direction,
multiplayer
and, like, Link's
against
Awakening
players
remake and
across
Lost
the
Echoes
globe.
of Wisdom.
These
Because for
internet
whatever
matches
reason, and I guess
will
'cause
not
they were
only
handheld
feature
series for a
real-time
long
play
time,
against
people
other
view
players,
2D games
but
as
will
inherently
also
lesser,
let
like,
you
oh, I shouldn't have
upload
to
your
pay as much
scores,
if it's not a
allowing
3D
you
game.
to test your
So I'm
skills.
glad
Well,
that
to
they
be fair, I
now
think
like,
it's also less
tournament
expensive. I think in a lot of ways. I mean, 3D game.
game
I think
will
3D
also
rendering in
use
general is
community
just.
feature
I don't know. I mean, there are
that
ways
so
to do it
many of
cheaply,
you
but I think to
have
do it at
used
Nintendo
in
standards,
Mario Kart
there's a
7
lot of
to
tinkering you
allow
have to
you
do, and it was
to
probably a
connect
lot
and
easier to
play
make like the kind of like
like-minded
quasi 2D,
players
quasi 3D
who
kind of
create
games that they did on the
and recruit
DS and stuff like that.
to communities
I mean, on the
based
DS, sure.
on
I'm talking about like the
particular
Switch games
themes.
specifically.
Oh yeah, definitely then.
But like,
We
yeah, but the
created
handheld
this
games. I think
community
it's because
system
gamers were
to
conditioned
make
for a
it
while
easy
that these
to
2D
enjoy
games were
the
only on
multiplayer
the
features,
handheld consoles,
and
those
I hope
games are
you will
just
make a
cheaper
great
than
use
like a
of it.
home console game.
You can also set
But yeah,
special
thinking back,
conditions
like I haven't even
for
played
joining
Superstar, but they
these
probably
matches.
shouldn't have done a Paper
For
Mario
example,
on the 3DS.
you can use
It makes more
traditional
sense
golf
for that to be
rules
like a home console
with no
series,
special
where
shots.
Mario and Luigi stays on a handheld.
Compete only play as
That's not
Luigi.
Birdie, that's Peach.
It's a system that
And it's impossible to be both a fan of Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario at the same time.
Right, well,
It's illegal.
internally, they're like,
From
oh, what if
all
we just
over the
combine them?
world.
And
It's
that's
like
when they
drinking
ran into
both Coke
collaborations.
and Pepsi.
Right.
And they made the
assure
worst
that
Mario and
the
Luigi
game will
game.
That's
feature
why I'm
local
glad that the
multiplayer
Nintendo
as
Switch
Wait, is
well.
Brothership the worst one, or is
Mario
Paper Jam the
Golf
worst one?
Tour.
Paper
Which
Jam's
will
easily the
launch
worst one.
This
I gotta watch like there's like a video I've been wanting to watch about Paper Jam about how much it
Next
sucks because I never
is a
played Paper
title
Jam.
Featuring
Is
Luigi
it
that
Don
we
Schnack?
weren't able to
I think that the
introduce
title
in
is like Paper
Nintendo
Jam, the game that
Direct
doesn't
in
want to
February.
exist or something like that.
It's the
pretty
newest
good.
I don't think that's Don
installment
Schnack.
in
I
the
love
Mario
Don
Party
Schnack's videos
series.
of it.
bigger.
It's very funny.
The basic
Like some
gameplay
of these,
concept
like Mario
of
Party
rolling
and
the
Mario
dice,
Kart being
Oh,
cross-moving
God.
makes
a board,
sense.
and
Which
Dude,
one
this
is this?
was a
competing
bleak
in
time. I
mini-games?
didn't
Remake.
realize how bleak this
But
was.
in this
Yeah.
title,
Well, I mean, also
for the
like
first
the Wii U
time,
just happened.
we
like,
have a total
things
of
don't
7
get good
game boards,
until probably the
each
Switch,
with
right?
their
Like things
own
are
set
fucked up
of
for a
Yeah,
while.
no, this is.
Now, I would say I think Nintendo
There will
Directs
be a
really
board
started becoming like
where
fun
the
and a big part of the
interaction
community
with the
with
other
Smash
players
Bros. Like it was Smash
will
Bros.
be
That really
very
I think.
important.
So
As
I
you
think once we get to
make use of a
2014,
variety
or
of
actually this is
items
2013, so
The
actually in a
game
few
that's
months worth,
announced,
yeah,
like
with
well
the
at the very least,
performance
have some
and to
interesting
move yourself
things that
around.
you'll see how
You
over the next like
select
3
booths
years or
as you
whatever,
play
like how much
composed
the
of
way
using
Directs are
them
kind of presented
at
change.
just the right moment to multiply.
I just
the
remember them
number
doing
on
like
your
weird,
dice
like
and make
how they
a
announced
huge
characters very
comeback
strangely.
in
Like I
one
remember
turn.
Wii Fit Trainer being announced.
There will
like
be another
post
board.
direct.
It was announced like 2 days into E3. It was kind of like
Right.
Yeah, and
everything
then it
everything
was
got
on the
dark
show
and they
floor.
showed Wii.
Pac-Man reveal.
Where
The
you
fucking
have to
Pac-Man reveal
decide
happened at
whether
like
you
a
will
shareholders
hide in
meeting.
Yeah,
safety
It was
impressive.
so
or whether
weird.
you will risk moving
Had to leak out.
despite the bullet bills that could shoot
Is
through
this
the
Island
map
Tour?
at any time.
I think so.
I
The
did play
gameplay
this one.
changes
Yeah, I think so.
dramatically
And it
on
had
each
download
individual
play, so I was
board.
the only one that needed to own it.
And there
And
are
that's
some
what I
maps
wanna see
where
in these
victory
game share
is decided
games.
quickly,
That's what you could do with Wonder,
making
that's
it
what you
game
can do
that
with
is
Chilling
easy
by the
to
Fire.
enjoy even
But
if
no,
you don't have a
not
lot
our
of time.
precious
Chilling on a
Mario
weekend
Party.
as usual.
minigames
Chilling by a
include
fire
some
as
that
usual.
test your
Watching
speed,
SpongeBob and
Bob,
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Some
Well, now
that
you can on the
test your
Switch, too.
concentration,
Now that you could jailbreak and
some
get
that
your
test
capture
your
card
luck,
in there.
and
Now
some
you can
that
watch SpongeBob while
leverage
chilling by the
the
fire.
unique hardware features of Nintendo 3DS.
We gotta host one of these shows and chilling by the fire.
We prepared 81 new minigames,
'Cause I don't think it really
offering
ends.
tremendous
I have
variety.
beaten it. There's
This
only so much you
includes
can do in the
minigames
game.
which use air cars, brand new puzzle games,
Right.
and a lot more.
I feel like Mario Party
We plan to release this new Mario
from like a
Party
gimmick
title
standpoint,
for Nintendo 3DS
doesn't often
this winter.
stand out with those because like I still remember
Next
that 2018
is more information
E3
about new Super
where they
Luigi
show off
U.
that Mario Party Switch game. Where
As
you
I
can put
mentioned
two
during
Switches
the
next to
Nintendo
each other and
Direct
they go
in
from screen to
February.
screen. And I
New
don't
Super
actually
Luigi
know if you
U
can do
is
that. In the game.
downloadable
Like I've never seen
content
someone actually
for new
do it
Super
in
Mario
real life.
Bros. U, where instead of Mario,
What?
Luigi is featured as the main hero of the adventure.
Do you remember when they unveiled was
The
it
world
Mario
map
Maker at the
is the
fucking
same
Nintendo
as
World
new Super Mario
Championships?
Bros. U, but
Oh, I think yes, I do remember
changed
that.
Yeah.
all 80
I remember
stages
watching
we
that. That
need
was
another
fun.
to
Mario
let you
Maker.
experience a brand new
God,
adventure.
like I need the
This
rush of
is
playing Mario
almost
Maker
like a
again.
brand new game, but yet.
Did you guys see the summoning salt video about like completing all the levels?
I would like
In
to
Mario
show
Maker?
you.
No, I haven't.
Some-
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I haven't watched it
New
yet.
Super
I have
Luigi
been
U.
over the last couple of days. Like I sort of
First,
just gained sentience.
You can play
last
the
night,
game with Luigi's
where I've just been
unique
like, you know, watching.
capabilities.
I won't call
What
it slop,
Luigi
but like
is
watching a lot
known
of the same
for
stuff I always
is
watch while working.
his powerful
And then I
jumping.
like was driving somewhere.
can
and
jump
I'm like, all right, I'll watch
higher
a
than
Nintendo
Mario.
video. And
So
then I was like, oh
he
wait,
can
no,
reach
right,
higher
no, these
locations
are videos I like. And then I
and
watched the
clear
rest of
big
my friends'
spaces
news videos,
that
and I
Mario
started getting
couldn't.
through the Quentin one today.
Of course,
that I just,
it's
like, didn't get
also
around to.
harder
So I gotta
for
watch
him
that one.
to stop
Yeah.
I like
after
Nick's new
dashing.
video though. That was
It's
a really
Oh,
good
yeah.
video.
Luigi's characteristics.
Well, like there were a couple. I didn't
As
watch
for the courses,
or prior to
all
last
of
night, I
them
didn't watch
start
the new
with only 100
Man
seconds
or the new
from the
D'Angelo
timer.
because I didn't
Because you have
watch
less time than
Zelda,
new
and
Super
I
Mario
didn't
Bros.
finish
U.
Among Us yet, and I
There
was
are
worried
many
that, like, I was gonna get
obstacles
spoiled
concentrated
somehow.
in the shorter stages. These
Watch
courses
the
are
Among Us video
designed
either yet,
so
only because I
you
haven't
will
had the time.
be tempted
but
to play
I will.
them
It
again
does not
and
spoil
again.
anything, is what I learned.
Okay,
New
good.
Super Luigi U.
Well, I've seen
is
this series
scheduled
already, so it
to
doesn't
be
really
released
matter.
Like, I like
this
to make my
summer
way through
during the year
weekly.
of Luigi.
I never realized that it
This
was
is still a
free
good
to play.
game.
Never realized
Next up
Luigi was holding
is
the board.
additional
game.
information on the title we introduced in the Nintendo Direct in February. Donkey Kong Country Return
Oh,
3D.
okay.
With stages designed
I forgot this came
not
out in
only from left to
that
right,
early.
but
I think I just
also with
misremembered
depth
it because
from front to back.
I think I just didn't
The
play it
game
until like
is a perfect
2018,
fit
and yeah, that was probably it.
To me, it doesn't
Nintendo
feel
3DS.
like a re-release.
So,
it feels
we've
like
taken
you know
a
how back
game
in the
that
day when they
originally
would do, like,
launched
licensing,
for
like
Wii
Mario Golf
and remade
on
it
the N64 and
under
Game
the
Boy, that they
name
were just called the
Donkey
same thing
Kong
and came out the
Country
same
Return
day.
3D.
To me, it felt like it spiritually
In
felt like that.
remaking
Like this
the
came
game,
out the same time
we
as the
have
Wii
added
game.
a special new mode
makes sense that
where
it didn't,
we have
because there was a
adjusted the
3DS.
game
Came out like 4 or 5 years later, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
And it came out
when did the
again
original
in
return?
2025.
The Wii version was created with the
It's also
notion
just like a
that
broken
people
game.
would settle in
I
and
haven't
play
played it on the
through
3DS, but
long
I
stretches of
There
the
are
game.
when people say that like the
Which
the
resulted
Wii motion controls
in
are
just
restrictive,
the
I never
right game
really
balance
agree with
of
them.
challenge and
But I do
playability.
feel it in this game. I think the
But
shaking
on the
is
portable
Oh, yeah.
like annoying.
People tend to play for
So-
shorter
I mean, I guess that's
durations.
why the Switch version
So
is now the
we've
definitive
adjusted
version.
Yeah.
the
But
difficulty
also,
balance
like, here's the
in
thing, and I hate to be
added
that guy,
new
like,
mode to take
why would
this
you ever
into
play this
account.
game when Tropical Freeze is just like
First,
an objectively
we've
better
increased
game
the number
on
of
all
Yeah.
fronts?
You prefer the classic
can get
environments because I
hit
feel like
by an
Tropical Freeze is a little bit more specialized. That's like the
other
only thing I
mode,
can think
Do
of.
they have
Donkey
any
Kong
returns
and
HD
Diddy
in the
Kong
Donkey Kong
now
challenge?
have 3 hearts each.
No,
instead
it was
of
just
2,
no. The
allowing
only
the player
only Bonanza
take up
is the
to
only
5 enemy hits.
non-retro
Also,
game.
in
Yeah.
new mode, we filled the game.
Also, it's
with
only
more items to help
the
Donkey
base
Kong
NSO,
and
so
Diddy
Game
Kong
Boy,
on their adventure.
NES,
Items
SNES.
like
Kong
the
no-
portable DK barrel,
No DK64, no
pull
Mario
Diddy
and Donkey Kong.
out at any time. The
you know,
green
none of that.
balloon, which floats you back up to the level once if you fall
Baby
down
mode for
a pit,
babies.
and the crash guard, which
I'm not a
protects
baby.
you
Not us,
from
yeah.
up to 2
That's what I was
crashes.
talking about earlier. That like I
when
do get a, it's hard
riding
not
a
to have a
rocket
chip on your shoulder.
bouncer.
If you don't have this toy, then you're a little baby.
Right.
New mode
I
is
played
great
Donkey
You're not a
Kong
baby,
all
are
day,
you?
every
play.
day.
No.
and we
Then why don't you
also
have the
recommend
toy?
to anyone
I don't know.
new to the Donkey Kong Country.
I don't think
Yo,
Santa
this
should be.
year Luigi
I
Gold
love
is
that name
very,
for you bit
very
so
the
much.
Wii version to be
Is this
too
the best
challenging.
year of Luigi game?
Of
Dude,
course,
also, like, this
we
is
have
completely
also
unrelated, but since you
included
brought that
the
up,
original mode which will let
Looking
you
at, like,
play the game
this
with the
June
same
compared to last
balance
June,
and difficulty level
like,
as the Wii
this year
version.
in TV
So
shows has been a
those
little
of you
lackluster,
who have
but like
confidence in your skills
last year
can
there was like
take
a period
on
of time
this
where it was like
challenge.
Severance season 2
Together
and,
with
and
this remake,
fucking The Rehearsal
we've added 8 new
and
levels
Chair Company.
within
Like it was
a
a
new
crazy
world.
year last year
Oh
for
my
You
TV
can
shows.
God.
play
And I don't
only
think there's anything
after
that's come out
clearing
this year
the main game.
TV-wise that I think has like gotten to
These
that level.
stages
At least
will
not for me.
offer
Have you guys ever watched
plenty of
Peep
fun,
Show? Because I just
even
finished
for
it.
those who
That's some
I
good
have
shit,
now.
dude.
everything
I haven't seen
in
Is that on
the
Peep-
So it's so good. It's so good.
You'll be looking forward
What's
to
that on?
these new levels.
It's on Tubi actually. I think a lot of
That's
the
where all the
episodes are up
heat
on
is,
YouTube.
You
yeah.
can also enjoy the game.
Dude, Tubi's lit, but you know what sucks?
cooperatively.
16 got taken off of
Play
Tubi, so now I have to
as
watch it on
both Donkey
YouTube.
Kong
Yeah.
and
I mean,
this
I would always watch
via
it.
Dude, that
local wireless
fucking
connection.
sucks.
I think it was on
Donkey
HD
Kong
on
Country
Tubi, so it's like, I'm not gonna be
will
remembering.
That's
as
lame.
a packaged game as well
It's
as
interesting
in
the,
the Nintendo
the
eShop
conversions that are
on
on YouTube
May
for Total
24th.
Because like some of them
Up
are
next is the latest game.
high quality.
in
They
as
just
well.
crack down on it now and then. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird.
I like that.
Is the
oh,
HD
shit, here it
version
is.
of fuck ew get it off the screen, get
So
it
what was
off.
so
the
bad about
game.
this game? Was it just kind of like shitty
Yeah.
platforming, or
It looks
The video
terrible,
you
and
are
I
currently
kid you
watching
not,
is
this
from
game
a
has
new
one of, if
Nintendo
not
3DS
the
game
worst
in the
soundtracks
Yoshi's
I think
Island
I've
series.
ever heard in a video game, possibly ever.
First,
There's
Yoshi's
2
Island
hours
It
of
is
shitty Nintendo music to make your
very,
day worse?
very
Make you
bad
wanna kill yourself.
soundtrack.
1995.
Have you seen that? Have you guys listened to that? Like, I think one of my
No.
it has the NLA music from Night from Xenoblade
Yoshi's
X, which
Island
is
DS
such a
on
stupid
Nintendo
track.
Now, several years later,
Also bad
The
title.
third
I'll say it.
installment
Bad title
in
for a
the Yoshi
3DS
Island
game.
It's a bad oh, and there's also
Coming
like
to
some fuck ass like
Nintendo
time
3DS.
travel bullshit that
this
just
game
doesn't need to
maintains
exist.
the
Is that why it's a
series
new
fun
It doesn't-
gameplay mechanics, such as
It's just
Yoshi's Flatter
ugly.
Jump,
Like
Ground
it
Pound,
tries to do what I think
And
the fuck ass
Egg Roll.
book
This
tries
is
to
a-
do, but
this
fuck
is a
ass
it
good-
book.
also offers
like microcosm
new
of the
action,
moveset, though, 'cause
which
we're seeing all
utilize
the
the
important
Nintendo
stuff, and this
3DS
is all in the
system's
moveset.
unique features.
There's the big
to
egg.
make the game new
Dude, the
and
fuck ass
fresh.
book does this
We will
style like
offer
10
more
times
details
better.
about the game and the launch date.
The cock-sucking
in the
motherfucking
future,
book.
So please stay tuned.
The book better suck me off, or that game's gonna be
Carrying
$50.
on the tradition of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series,
Oh.
in which
Oh,
you must
good.
skillfully manipulate
I mean, if you're a
objects
fan
to
of all
guide
these
the
series,
toy mini
it's like
Marios
2K,
to
so
the
you got
goal
one for
is
everything
a
that's coming
brand
to the
new
3DS.
action puzzle game
I feel like that's
coming to
there was a
Nintendo
lot of
3DS
things that went
as a
into the failure of
downloadable
the Wii
title.
U. But I think
Mario
a big
and
part of
Donkey
it is that, like, well, if you wanted
Minis
to play
on the
any of
move.
these games, there's much better games on the
In
3DS.
this game,
Even like
your
Smash Bros.
objective
is on the
is
3DS.
to place different types
Oh
of
my god,
tiles
can we talk about how
on the
Smash
flat
Bros.
map
is better
shown
on the 3DS?
the bottom
I think
screen
It
to
has better
guide the mini
modes.
characters to the goal.
it does have better modes. Yes, it's
The upper
like,
screen
but it's not even a
displays
contest.
The various
I
paths
wish that
and
8-player Smash was
obstacles
fun.
in 3D.
Like I like
as
the
the
idea of there
minis
being
make
multiple
their
players, but like
way
it just
through
doesn't
the level.
work in the game.
This gives
way
the
it in
game
theory
a different feel
Because
than
like even 4
the
players
Mario
in Smash
vs.
Bros.
Donkey
game, like,
Kong
that's still
series.
fun, but it's a little hectic. 8 players,
In some
you
instances,
can't even see what's happening.
you
on the
have a
screen.
limited
There has
number
to
of
be,
tiles.
Like,
Well, because it's so fucking zoomed out.
yeah, there's got to be
Guide
like
two
some.
characters
that guy's gonna
simultaneously.
die. There's got to be like some way to make it more multiplayer. Have you guys
or
There's this
even
thing called
navigate them through
I
giant
think
areas.
Melee Minus
There's
or
a
something
huge
like that.
amount of
That is,
variety.
One of the
in
melee
this
mods.
Yeah, it's melee
over
running off of a browser.
180
So you
different
don't need
stages
ISO, you
across
don't need a
4
raw.
Oh, that's kinda
different
awesome.
modes.
It just like
I love
strips
that.
the
In
characters down to
addition,
their silhouettes.
it's also possible
And,
to
let me
upload
find
original
this
stages
specific video.
that you separate from the main action puzzle game are 4 different types of unique mini games, all of which make use of both the 3D screen and the touch screen, so you have plenty of ways to play. Mario and Donkey Kong minis on
Mario
the move
and Donkey
will
Kong.
be available exclusively in the
And they stopped
Nintendo
fighting.
eShop
They squashed
on
the beef.
May
working
They
on
acted
it.
like nothing
Somebody
ever
just
even happened.
Here it is. This is a
I'd
turn
now
down for
like
Walk
to
Short. How do I
spend
mute
some
this?
time
Because they
discussing
posted it to Twitter.
Wii U.
It's a mod
Regarding
of that
the
melee thing
system
that makes a
update I
100
mentioned
player
during the
battle
January
royale
Nintendo
melee
Direct.
game. That just
This
like
will
one
be
really
released
big
next
battlefield
week.
with 100 players.
As I mentioned before,
Melee
this
Lite,
system
that's what it's
update
called.
will
It runs off of
improve
like Chrome out of the
the
browser.
loading times
And you
when
load it with
switching
like I think
between
this is
software
fun as a
or
game
returning
mechanic.
to the Wii
like
U.
having
Oh,
a
that's
Smash
awesome. I love
Run-esque
that.
like
Additionally,
giant stage.
it
and
will
that,
add
I can
new
see them
features,
doing like a
such
Smash Bros.
as
Battle
the
Royale
ability
for the
to
new game.
copy and
'Cause
move
that's what
data
everything
between
is
two
now.
USB drives, automatically
fucking
install new
Return to
software
Dreamland
you
Deluxe as a
have
battle royale
downloaded
mode.
in the
Or at
background
least a 100
while
player
you are
mode.
playing a game and automatically receive updates even without
I thought
starting
you could
up
already
the
do
software.
this. I guess there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know
guess
you
not.
could
There
already
will
do.
be other improvements, such as being able to press the B button while the hardware is starting up to go directly to Wii mode.
I forgot they let you do
Also,
that.
I didn't
It's been a
know you
while.
could.
After
do
you
that.
have started
Also,
downloading
the
software,
the
a
game
new
worth
standby
buying a Wii U
function
for
will
is
enable
Mario
Dude, I
Galaxy
predicted
Wii
this
U.
a few
to
shows ago.
continue
I was like, oh, they're
download
gonna
and
release
to
the
install
Wii
the
start
software,
the fast
even
startup
after
soon.
you turn
It
off
seems
your
like a lot
Wii,
of
I'm just
their
hating, dude.
saving you
special Wii U
time as
announcements
well.
are like, don't worry, the console works.
I also mentioned the Wii U Virtual Console during the January Nintendo Direct,
That's true.
and this service will start the day
Holy
after
shit, guys,
the
next
system
week?
update
Oh, just a week
becomes
away.
available. Here are some of the Virtual Console titles we will be offering
They
after
kind of
the
fucked up to
service
say that
launches.
Mario and Donkey Kong are friends now, and then
As
showing
we
him kidnap
shared
his
in
kid,
January,
or I guess kidnap him. and
Wii
have
U
his kid
Virtual
save
Console
him.
games can be
I
played
forgot how
in
bad the games
off-TV
look on
mode
this. They
on
look
the gamepad.
fugly.
And
I mean, to be
each
fair,
will
that's how they
have
look
their
on the
own
NES. It's
Miiverse
arguably
community.
more accurate than any
If you
other
have
emulator.
You're not
already
wrong, but, like, at
transferred your
least
Virtual
that
Console content from
has
Wii
an
to
excuse.
Wii U,
There's no excuse for
you
why
can
this looks
continue
killer
to play
games.
these games as
really
you
good,
have
but,
in
like,
the
also
past
goddamn.
in Wii mode.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, for
But
like a
if
little
you'd
sizzle
like
reel,
to
they're
take
so used to
advantage
Nintendo
of
Directs
this
where they're
Wii U
like,
specific
that's right,
functionality,
Mouse Quest 2 is
you'll be
is coming
able
to
to
Game Boy
purchase
Online.
these same games on Wii U at a special price.
The Fisher Price.
We are
Imagine
also
Party
working to
Babies.
bring both Game Boy Advance games and
God, I wish that was
N64 games
correct.
to the Wii U
I
Virtual
wanted to say
Console
this earlier,
service
too,
in the
when
future.
watching
Also, following
Donkey
the
Kong
update,
Country Returns,
Wii U
the
Panorama
HD
View
game
will
coming
be
to
available
the Switch.
as
Is
a
that, like,
free
that's
downloadable demo
part of why I
from the
don't-
eShop.
you know,
This
they're always
is a
going to want to
completely
chart
different
upwards growth, so I'm
experience
sure they'll port
than
other
the Wii
consoles
Street
to
View
NSO,
powered by
but, like,
Google application
a lot of
that
the
we
Wii
launched
games
in
you
February
can just play
and
on the
allows
Switch.
you to watch in every direction as
You can play
some
Skyward
of
Sword,
the
you can play
world's
Galaxy, you can play
most
Xenoblade,
exciting
you can play
destinations
Donkey Kong
come
Country
to life
Returns. I mean,
around
what other
you
Wii
through
games are
the
there
Wii U
even?
gamepad and your TV.
Super Hit
There's
Mario.
Wario Land
The
Shake.
demo
Mario Kart Wii.
includes a sample
Wario Land
of
Shake It,
kind
yeah.
of experience. The
There's
application.
Wii
that
Fit.
one, like,
Well, they're not
pirate
gonna do
game,
Wii Fit.
Zack
The
and
individual
Barbados or
Wii U
something.
Panorama View video
Attack
tour
of
Remember that?
Juju?
can be purchased.
No, it was like
for
Zack and
The last
$2
story.
each. We also have some additional information
Oh yeah.
on
Well, isn't that on
Pikmin
like
Well,
PC?
no, you can play that on Switch.
in addition to the
That's
Rock
what I'm
Pikmin.
saying.
What else?
We showed
you
you
can
at last year E3.
brawl.
We would like to introduce you
Right.
to one more new
Well, that's
Oh,
assuming
New
that
Super
they
Mario
even
Bros.
do the different
Wii.
Smash Bros.
This is
versions
the
of
video
NSO. We're
we
still
showed
waiting for
you
fucking
at
Smash
last year's
64.
E3. But
New
let's
Super
tell
Mario
you
Bros.
the
Wii
we're
is
truth.
waiting
one.
for, right?
We actually showed the
last
new
one
Pikmin type.
Yeah.
That was in
this
that leak,
Pikmin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you may have noticed it back then.
Did you guys notice? it?
WarioWare.
See,
We need a red arrow
right
pointing to
here.
it. Did you see
They are
that?
flying
Let's slow it
and
down
they-
first. A
This
mysterious
is a
orb
new
went in the way of the
Pikmin
camera.
with
We
wings,
think it might be a spirit.
and it can fly. They are called
Well,
winged
we call them
Pikmin.
glow Pikmin because they
They
glow.
fly and follow
These
the
guys should be
player,
called Pink
and
Pikmin.
they can carry items in the air as
Pikmin.
well.
Yeah, Jesse Pink.
As you can imagine,
Because I get it with
they
Rock
will be
Pikmin, Ice
helpful
Pikmin, whatever.
in different
but, like,
ways than the other Pikmin types.
They're
Pikmin 3
Pikmin.
will be
What's this
launching
utter woke
in just a
nonsense?
few months.
There's like a joke about like how
There
white
are
people are called
winged
white,
Pikmin
black people are called
on the
black, but
package
Asians are
as
called
well.
Asian there. It's like, oh,
More
you call
details
me
about
red,
the
you call
game
me yellow,
will
but
be
you call
released
him wing. Like,
right
what's that?
now
When
and
did this
launched.
happen?
Please stay tuned.
More info to come. There's Pikmin hiding inside
The last
game.
news from me is about Earthbound, which I was
Oh,
also
shit. Hold on.
directly
Today, oh fuck, dude.
as one of
Imagine,
the
just real quick,
yeah.
imagine for
Hell
a second you're
yeah.
watching a
20 years
Nintendo
ago.
Direct in 2013.
Dude, I don't have. Well,
and
I
you
have.
you don't know what's
This game was
happening, and you're just like,
released
all right, now
as
more info on
Mother 2.
Earthbound.
and it has been available as
God
one of
damn.
the NES 30th anniversary virtual
I saw a
console
thing too that,
titles.
Dude, I remember for
in
years
Japan
people thought they wouldn't
since
release
March.
Earthbound because of its
After the
soundtrack.
January Nintendo
That's
Direct,
funny.
Wait, why
Very
is that?
passionate
What's the deal with
fans
that?
Because there were a lot of
America,
songs that were like clearly
shared their strong
pastiches
wish
of like
for
famous
this
songs
title
and stuff
to
like
be
that.
released in the market as
And
well.
like like I guess there was fans that thinking that like maybe there'd be like copyright
I happily
trouble.
announced to you
coming
that
to-
But yeah, no,
this
dude.
game will be available
versions of
as
other
a virtual
songs.
console type.
Well, I wouldn't say bootleg, but there are like there
They're
are
meant
like
to
some.
sound like
end of
EA.
this
There are some like similarities. Like I think
creator,
like one of the one of the
myself
common comparisons
are very
is there's a
happy about as well.
why am I blanking?
The bad
I'm
enemy?
blanking now. I'm
We will
stupid.
announce the actual
Yeah,
release
that's one of
Yeah,
them.
there's
No,
a bad enemy.
that's Mother 3.
So
Oh,
please
Mother
stay
3,
tuned.
right, where it goes,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's
That I have.
There's I think there's a I think the like
See,
kind,
always
there's a
wearing gloves?
rockabilly kind of song in this
Slowly
game that
turning
sounds
into Mario.
sort of like you know like Chuck Berry's kind of stuff, but I
like
forget the
surgical
specifics.
Mr. Iwata. And hi, everyone.
Yeah, wait, what the
Bill
fuck?
from the
Why
Nintendo
was he just
3
wearing
House.
gloves in that
And I'm
one
back to share
thing?
more with
Didn't
you
wanna shake
about what's
girlfriend's
coming up for
hand.
Nintendo 3DS and Wii U
That's
in
fair.
North
I
America.
wouldn't want to
Yeah, Bill Trillin. I miss Bill Trillin.
What really sets the Wii U system apart from other home consoles are the unique new styles of play made possible by the interplay.
But yeah, I remember this was a
between the Wii U
big deal. I
gamepad
was so
controller
excited.
And what you see on the
Earthbound
television.
Yeah, I saw.
We've seen this in
I
games
watched
like
the Earthbound
Nintendo
USA
Land
documentary
and Lego
when they
City
showed it at
Undercover.
MagFest,
And we see it in services
specifically
like Wii
about-
Street U powered
It was
by
about
Google.
Mother 1, right?
But
It
when
was
Game
about
& Wario
Earthbound
comes to Wii U,
beginnings.
you'll see just how
The
creative our
fan
development
space
I've never
is
actually I've never
for
seen the
that.
In this
documentary.
case,
It's really
the
fun.
development team headed
Also,
up by
Toby
Wario
Fox shows
and his
up
friends
under
from
his,
Diamond City.
his Starman.net
Game &
name.
Wario features
Yeah, like literally
a variety of different
radiation.
games,
Yeah. Well, I
and
was
each
gonna say,
one
too, that,
uses
like,
the gamepad
I like
in a
now
unique
that
way.
although
What
it is
the fuck?
playable,
One
Radiation.
example
Oh
is
shit,
Pirates,
it's everyone's
a game
favorite
which was
game,
introduced
Game
to
&
the Wii U
Wario.
in 2011. It's changed a bit since then.
Dude, he's such a little nerd. I love that.
In this game, you must defend yourself from suction cup arrows being shot at you by pirate ships on all sides.
Dude, I had a dream
to
last
do it
night where they
anyway.
announced a new Earthbound
The
game, and I
TV
was
only
talking
shows
like
the
so
ship
much
in front of
shit
you,
because
so
it was
you
in
have
like
to use the
3D and
gamepad.
stuff like
yeah,
that.
that
And I, like,
Off the arrows
I
coming
still
at you
want
from
that.
the side.
like no, but it wasn't even like
There
that.
are more
It was just
examples
ugly.
to go
So I
through, which is
I
demonstrated
posted
in
like
the
I
previous
posted a
Nintendo
tweet
Direct.
with screenshot of the game in my dream, and I posted
But one of my
and it was
favorites
like
is
basically the Focus M
gamepad,
dialogue, but with like
It looks
Ness
like
and
the
Paula.
familiar instant
So
action
Paula's like
gameplay
Focus
of the
Ness or
Mario
whatever.
series. But the TV
You're
adds
such a
a whole
poser.
new
Guys,
You're
challenge.
guys, we're
dreaming about
missing the
potential.
peak.
Dude, I'm like
Mario
dreaming about
gameplay
talking
game.
shit about games I haven't
Right.
played.
Mother,
You have a folder
catching
on
the
your
This is
computer
Game
in case
&
every
Wario, for
individual
God's sake.
game gets announced.
You have to
They
play
like,
the
I'm
game
gonna
and
have
Literally.
this
keep an
ready.
eye out for
I
your
had a
mom,
very
who
specific
has a
digital
whole lot
service
of tricks
post
up her
ready when
sleeve.
something was revealed at the end.
It's almost as if they turned my childhood into a video
Guys,
game.
listen. We're missing the Game & Wario stuff.
Game &
okay?
Wario
This is
also
the
includes
peak
several
of
All I
the
know about
Wario
is gamer.
series.
But it's also unique in that even
Gamer.
games you play on your own are designed to use the TV in ways that let others around you join in the fun with tips and advice while watching you play.
Yeah,
It
like,
also
this is
has a
all
ton
new
of
to me.
fun
This
little
looks
prizes
fun
you can unlock,
conceptually, but
like this one.
nice.
Sexy.
Hey, I'm W-Man.
Did you use
I
Tomodachi
didn't
Life,
expect
dog?
the phone to ring. You really freaked
The
me
text
out.
to speech.
Look for Game & Wario.
I think it was
in
the same- it's
stores
probably the
and
same
on the
kind of
Nintendo
like
eShop
thing,
on June
system.
23rd. I'm guessing that
That's
by now
soon.
many of you are fully engrossed in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate from Capcom.
Exactly. I've always
These games on Wii U
How
and
did you
Nintendo
know?
3DS are truly massive, and even those that have been playing the series for years are still learning about how to optimize their tactics for taking
character's
down
name is
its
Capcom.
trademark massive enemies. Capcom has
Trademark
created a
Massive
new
Ed.
series of videos detailing some of the key information that everyone
is a
jumping into the
3DS game,
series
right?
for the
Looks pretty
first
good.
time should be aware of. Some of these
full
videos are
3DS
available
game.
now on our YouTube channel, and more are on the way, so I hope you check them out.
Wait, maybe not.
For those of you playing the Wii U version of Monster
Never
Hunter
mind.
3 Ultimate, a software update launched a few days ago enables off-TV play using the gamepad and also allows
just
players
assumed
from
every
around
game
North
had
America
that.
and Europe to join each other's online games. These games are regarded
There might have
as
been
the
some
best
exceptions.
versions
That
of
might have
Monster
been the
Hunter to
case.
date, and are a great place to jump into the
I'm
series.
gonna go back to the
Because like
old ones, although
Nintendo
they're, like,
Land, I
know
think
that
there were
many
like
of you have
games
been
that
enjoying
fundamentally
Lego City
relied on the
which
disparity
launched
between the
exclusively for Wii U
gamepad
about a
and
month
the
ago.
rest of the players.
The game
go
blends
back
open world
to
exploration with a number of
Dude,
different.
Dude, I
What's the
love
latest
Nintendo
game
Land so much. I miss
It
that
really
game.
draws players
I
into
mean,
the
that's one
hustle
that
and
like they
bustle of
really
Lego
just
City.
cannot port.
One aspect of the
It's
game
why
that
it's
we're
the
happy to
only
hear
Nintendo
that
game that
players are
isn't-
enjoying is
that
its sense
doesn't
of
have a
humor
direct
and
sequel.
story.
Unless they
Starring
sell a
undercover
separate
detective
screen.
Chase McCain.
Right.
So how are
that's
you
what we're
settling
waiting
in,
for.
Chase?
Well, speaking of
Great,
separate
thanks,
screen,
Chief. I finished all my training and I'm ready for duty.
Now that
Full
many of you are
motion
familiar with
cutscenes.
Chase, you'll soon be able to learn how he got his start in the Lego City Police Force,
now we're in the
working
era
his
where
first
we could get
case as a
Elden
rookie
Ring
cop.
and
In Lego City
it's
Undercover,
definitely
the
cry
chase
on the Switch
begins
too.
for Nintendo
But
3DS.
the 3DS
This is an entirely different
had a lot
game
of
from Lego City
N64
Undercover on
remakes,
Wii
and a lot of the
U,
games were,
featuring
like,
a different set of
PlayStation
missions to
quality
enjoy.
because
But
it
being
had
his
the
first
same
case,
hardware.
Chase
I
will
liked
have to
it. Someone
work his
on-
way
on
up from
stream
finding a
the other
missing
day
dog and getting
said that
donuts
they
for
were
the
getting
police
really into
force
the Game Boy
before the
Advance,
real
and they
work
asked for
begins.
We're out of
recommendations,
donuts.
and I'm
Get
like,
me some
honestly,
more.
like outside
Yes,
of
sir.
RPGs,
Fire Emblem Mother 3.
Eventually,
outside of
enough
RPGs,
disguises to get a shot
the
at
Game Boy
going.
Advance is
Pokemon.
kind of just a remake.
The developers at
Like, it
TT
just is
Games
like,
have
whoa, I
adapted
can
the
play
full
Super
open
Mario
world of
World
Lego
on the
City
go.
to make it
Because
more
that was, like,
accessible for
novel.
portable play
And I like
on
that, like,
Nintendo
Yeah.
the Game Boy
But
Advance
since the
has a
game
lot
is a
of
prequel
Super
to the
Nintendo
Wii U game,
remakes.
you'll want to keep
And
your
It's
eyes
interesting.
open
I
has
wonder
a lot
how
of
many
N64
people, like-
remakes.
different
It's the same
areas and
hardware,
landmarks.
more or less.
As you explore the city, you'll
I prefer
chasing
the
down
advanced
criminals.
version of Super Mario Bros. 2 as opposed to version, but I don't really know like
Sort
what
of,
the
like,
reasoning was.
softens it down
both
to
in
make it
stores
more of a
and
Mario
on the
game.
Nintendo eShop.
I think that's
So don't
why.
miss
Yeah.
out on another chance to get lost in the charm and
Because if
fun
you play the
of Lego
advanced
City.
version, you wouldn't even
Swap
clock
Note
that game
users
as,
will
like,
soon
that
be receiving a
different. I mean, it
special note
controls
from someone
differently.
close
Well,
to the game.
It's more that has vertical
And
movement.
if you have
but-
played any of the games shown here,
Well, the Big
you may
Five.
even be receiving more special swap notes soon. The launch
Sent
of
in by
Animal
Dylan's
Crossing New
rule,
Leaf
arresting
is less than
people
2
playing
months
Fire
away.
Emblem.
And we know many of you are now
now this
thinking
is coming
about
out
the
in the
best way to
West.
get the game. Do you go with the convenience of owning the game digitally? Or is your inner collector craving the
This
physical
is an
version?
interesting discussion for them
Well,
to be having.
Here's another option for you.
Let's have a discussion
Starting
about
from the
DRM.
game's
Let's do
launch
that.
on
Let's do
June
that.
About whether or
We'll
not
be
you should keep
offering a
the digital
Nintendo
games.
3DS XL hardware bundle that includes
Oh,
a
the 3DS XL is
pre-installed
already a
version of
thing?
the game. This bundle
Yeah.
I guess it
carries
makes
a
sense
That came
for
out pretty
two
early.
years in the
price
3DS,
of
yeah.
Well, the new
219.99.
3DS X, the new one
And
came out in
it's the perfect way
2015.
to go if you are interested in the
I think
game.
there were only like 2 games that were
Upgrade
exclusives
from
for it. There was
Nintendo 3DS
Xenoblade
to
and
3DS XL.
there might have been like one
Or
other.
if Animal Crossing New Leaf is your reason for joining the Nintendo 3DS family. And
I mean,
now
for
I
a
have
lot
a
of
bit of
people it
news
was.
for you about 2 classic Zelda titles coming
a good
soon
game.
to Virtual Console for Nintendo 3DS. The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons.
I mean, sure, that is two
Originally
games,
developed by our
but-
friends at Capcom, these 2 games represented the pinnacle of 2D Zelda
big
gameplay
Capcom Direct.
when they released on Game Boy Color
have paid
back in
them all.
2001.
Capcom.
Blending the best elements of the 8 and 16-bit era Zelda games with popular characters from the N64 games,
Even
while
this is that,
introducing
like,
new
well, I guess it's a
characters,
little different.
new enemies, and a surprising array of new gameplay mechanics. Perhaps the biggest innovation was the
Yeah,
fact
for a
that the 2
while,
games
I
were
mean, you obviously
interconnected.
couldn't have
You
a
could play either
Zelda
one
on
first
handheld until the 3DS.
and could link the games
So it made
together to
sense
continue
that
your quest in the other.
from that period of time. from,
Doing
like, the
so
N64
unlocked new
to,
events
like,
in
the
each game,
Wii,
allowed
that
you to travel back and
all of
forth between the 2 lands the
handheld
games were set in,
more
and
akin
led
to
to an
the early
ultimate
NES
final
and Super
showdown
Nintendo
that
style
could
ones,
only be
top-down Zelda
experienced
games
by
and
playing both.
Mario games.
All of these features return when the Oracle games launch
felt
in
like
the
a
Nintendo
limitation.
eShop on May 30th. While you
At
don't
what
have to
point
play
did the
both
3DS
games, I hope
come
you
with
will,
Force Awakens?
so you
Like,
can
when I
see
got
why
mine,
these
it
2
had that
games
Force
have earned
Awakens.
so many passionate
I think
fans over the years.
I don't know.
Oh,
Because it was
I actually did
anniversary,
get
right?
A few
that.
other games
I
coming
had
to
that.
Nintendo
Yeah.
I thought I got that on the
I
DSI.
also wanted to share with you today.
Maybe that. I feel like there's
Some of
different
these are
versions.
games that players in Japan.
I think there was like one
know
free
you've
4
been
swords
interested
kind of
in
game that came out on the
since they were first
DSI, but I
announced
forget
overseas.
why
There
and
was a
when.
free 3DS. I definitely
We're
did
happy
pay
to
for
say
it on 3DS.
that you will have
And
the
it was like
chance
an
to play them
anniversary game,
in the
I
months
think.
ahead. The first is Bravely Default from
Oh.
Square Enix.
Wait, that's
This
nuts.
is a
This
role-playing
Switch
game
2
with a
launch
twist.
game.
Players can
That's
choose to
awesome.
skip their turn in battle.
Wow, it
for a
took them
chance to do
12
more
years for
damage
that game to
in
come
later
out.
turns.
Wow, so the
It adds an
I
interesting
didn't
layer
know
of
that the game
strategy
was
to the
called
battles,
Bravely Default
as you have to
Flying
weigh the
Fairy.
immediacy of
I
attacking
thought that
first
the HD
and the
remaster was
potential
called
for delayed
Flying Fairy
gratification by
HD
waiting.
remaster. I didn't know that the game.
The game
is
also
Bravely
features
Default
AR
Flying Fairy,
functionality,
and it
multiple
has an HD
endings,
remaster.
and unique wireless features.
That makes more sense,
making
I
it a
guess.
title you'll come back to again and again.
Wow.
We're partnering with Square Enix to publish the game in North America.
I mean, this is
and
honestly
we're planning
more
for
third-party
release in
announcements than they
2014.
normally have in these directs.
Another
As
Wait,
it was
it, dude, that's crazy. I
The
could have
latest
sworn it was
entry
just
in
called
the Press
Bravely
Release
Default in the
series,
U.S.
which will be
Is
releasing
it
in North
called Bravely
America
Default
in
Flying Fairy
2014.
in the US?
The game game marks the conclusion of the second Professor
No,
Layton
I
trilogy
think
of
for
games.
the U.S.
Feature
release, they
Professor
eventually
Layton
changed the name to just Bravely
traveling
Default.
around the world
Okay.
to solve yet another mystery.
I wonder why I kept that.
Featuring
Also,
more
shout
than
out Layton,
500
this is the
entirely new
pre-AI
puzzles
universe.
and a climactic storyline, the conclusion of the
game's coming out
second
this
Layton
year.
saga.
Dude,
That's
is
got to
a
be
major
like
game
crazy
event
good
for
slander
world
against
audiences.
Leighton fans. Like next
I'd
time
also
I'm
to
like a Leighton
introduce
fan
some
is like talking
upcoming
shit
Nintendo
to me, I'm gonna be
3DS
like,
eShop titles.
well,
for
at least
Level 5.
I'm not playing
Known as
the AI
Guild
games.
series
So.
in Japan, These games offer new experiences from some of Japan's top games.
Like, yeah, dude, if I'm ever in a fight with your girlfriend, Andrew.
Right, which happens all the
First
time.
game is the
Like,
Starship
next time
Damage,
Tia and I are really mad at each other.
My girlfriend's
Kazuya
fighting.
Asano, and Takemaru Abiko,
Oh,
who are
they look
known as
so
pioneers of the text-based adventure and
gangster.
visual
Yeah, but let
novel
me look into
genres
this.
in
When does
Japan.
this Professor Layton game come
In this
out?
game, players find themselves in a suspenseful adventure
Steam.
that does not provide them with any tutorials or objectives at all.
It just says 2026.
Whoa,
Players
so
will
scary.
have to find
I didn't
all
like
little
that.
information
Glad I
they
looked
can in order to discover the truth of their
scared.
circumstances. The
this
second
still
title
Layton? What is
is
this?
Bugs versus
Bugs.
Tanks,
Oh.
a game from Concepts Keiji Inafune, known for creating the Mega Man series,
was
as
gonna
well
say,
as
why do
many
I
other
know
hit
that name?
franchises.
Yeah.
Players control a World War II tank squad
He's not the
that has
Mighty
been
Number
shrunk
9
down
guy,
to
right?
the
That was
size
like an
of
artist.
bugs.
that
No, I
did
think the
this
Mighty
stuff.
Number 9 guy was. I didn't know that. I thought it was
Customize
like
your
like
tank
some
to
guy
fight
with like
the
serious
swarms of giant
cachet.
bugs.
Well,
And do
the
your
deal
best
is
Like,
that,
no
like,
offense to him. I mean,
The
doing
Mighty
art for
Number
Mega
9
Man is
guy,
still
like,
kind of important.
designed the characters, but
Finally,
didn't, like,
we have
ever
Attack
make a
of the
game.
Friday Monsters, a Tokyo Tale, by Millennium Kitchen's Kaz Ayabe, who has mesmerized many Japanese fans with his heartwarming stories. Players will take the role
that
of a
was
young
doing Kingdom
boy
Hearts too,
named
right? Is that the
Sota,
director of
who
Kingdom
lives where
Hearts
the
is the
giant
art
monsters
director
from
for
TV
Final
shows of
Fantasy.
Japan's
That's why a lot of Final
1970s
Fantasy
come to
fans-
life
not all- a lot of
every
Final
Friday.
Fantasy fans are like, yeah, that game
The
is
town
not
and
as
the
good,
people of the
'cause
era
he's
have
not,
been
like, a
brought
game
to life
developer.
in a new Tokyo-style fantasy that gives players
But
a
now also
glimpse
he's directing
into
the
the
Final
various
Fantasy,
events that
7
unfold
remake
in this
game, so
world.
I guess he won in the end.
Level 5's the Starship Damre, Bugs vs. Tank,
Blurry.
and Attack of the Friday Monsters, a Tokyo Tale,
Any of
are
these
coming
could
soon
be
to
the new
Nintendo
Professor
eShop,
Layton.
so stay on the lookout for more details in the future. Last but not least, our friends at Atlas recently shared that Shin Megami
Persona
Tensei
Q?
4 is headed to
Megami
North
Tensei.
America
Oh,
this
no,
summer.
SMT4.
We have additional details
Planet
on what
Shin
fans can
Megami
expect
Tensei.
from this massive RPG. Atlas is
I've heard
pulling
some
out
good
the
stuff about
stops with this
SMT4 though.
release,
What's
and
the
every
disc?
copy of the game
Oh,
in the initial
music,
shipment
okay.
will come
Oh,
with
yeah,
a
it's
music
music.
CD, strategy
So
and
have you
design
not
book,
played any of the Shin
and
Megami Tensei
collectible
series?
outer slipcase.
I've only played Nocturne.
The game will launch on July
It-
16th.
Well,
I
I've
thought
also
that-
played
Get
Persona
ready
4
to
and
spend
5.
the days of
Persona's a
summer
spin-off of
immersed
it,
in this
right? Or is it-
epic
Yeah,
handheld
it is.
experience.
Okay.
We're almost done today, but before we go, Reggie has one last announcement that he'd like to share
A
with all of
personal
you.
Reggie announcement.
Thank you, Bill, and hi, everyone.
Come on,
Legend of
Reggie,
Zelda.
give us more.
Whoa.
It
was
was
originally
really funny to
released
see all
for the
those
Super
Miiverse posts that
NES
were like, "Come
in
on, please, we want
1992.
Mother 2 translated in English."
Those of
It's
you
like, this
who've heard
is
me speak about this
only
game
going to get
know that
worse.
it's my favorite of all time. More than 20 years
I don't know. I feel like
after this
honestly,
landmark
the
game
worst,
was
the worst
originally
shit
released,
Reggie had gotten was
we're now
already
developing a
past.
new
Like there was a
game
point in time where
that
Reggie
will
was like
take place
considered like
in
the
the same
bad guy
game
in like the
world
story.
Yeah, it
in
was
Nintendo
personally his
3DS.
fault.
What our developers want to achieve
shit,
in this
good
new
game
Zelda
alert.
game is to
This is the
reinvigorate the
best
flat 2D
Zelda
world
game, and
of A Link to the Past
I just
with a sense of height and volume
I want to do some,
using the
some old
three-dimensional
E3 coverage,
display
because I
of
remember a
Nintendo
lot of footage
3DS.
came out of this. Like,
With
guess
it, it's
was
easier
it
to
this later,
differentiate
E3
levels in the
2013 or
environment,
the year before?
and our
We didn't
developers
see
can
it the
utilize
year
height
before.
differences in dungeons as a puzzle-solving
I want
mechanic.
to see what stuff has released.
While
since
this
the
game is
last
set
E3
in the
launch.
world of A Link to the Past, it features an
From the
original
lines.
storyline and entirely new dungeons. Also in this game, Link can become a drawing and move
Also-
within walls. By moving in the walls,
just
your
okay,
viewpoint
it's ready to
changes,
go.
and you can see the connection
Link's in your
within the
walls,
area
bro.
that you couldn't observe
He's
before.
allowed to live there.
This new mechanic
yeah,
will
last
play a
direct we
key role
watched
in
was
solving puzzles in the
Yeah,
game.
it was Valentine's Day. So let's see what happened in between.
Because we want you to experience the game world with the full 3D
3DS
visuals
style.
our developers have created,
Between
we've prepared a 3D video you can download from the
February.
Nintendo eShop
Luigi's
shortly
Mansion
after
Dark
this video
Moon,
concludes.
and
We'll be launching this exciting
Wait,
new
no,
game
that's
in the
not
Zelda
right. That
series
can't
for
be right.
Nintendo 3DS.
sorry, I
this
was looking at
holiday
Japan.
season.
Hold on.
Thank you very much for watching today,
You know what,
and I
Reggie,
look
you're
forward
welcome.
to seeing you next time.
Brain age Oh, wait, was that it? Okay, wait, hold on, wait. Yeah, nothing. Brain age. Genuinely nothing Nintendo made came out on the 3DS between the last two directs. I want to check on the Wii U. Do we have any Wii U releases? This is bleak stuff. We're going towards what? Between February 2013 and April 2014? That is, I believe, Lego City Undercover. Well, that was another Nintendo Direct in the bag, and we have more additional. Oh, hi, Kitty. What are you doing right now? We have additional information on a lot of games. Hoping to see more next week. Maybe getting in on all these re-releases and other special game modes. And then 2 Thursdays, not this upcoming Thursday, but the Thursday after that, we'll see the release date of Star Fox, and we will have your high octane Star Fox coverage, and then also a potential Star Fox moveset. Which with each subsequent week, we will do another Smash Bros. Character on the roster and another Nintendo Direct. I believe we don't have anything left to cover, but I have been your co-parent, BHultra.
And I have been your co-parent, Switchy.
And I've been your Funkle Dan.
Do you guys have anything in development that you would like to talk?
Dude, I'm like almost. Did I take forever to write now? But I think I'm almost done writing a video on 16. So I'm excited about that. It'll be kind of fun.
I've heard people are clamoring for that. Okay, bud, you're gonna fall. So you gotta be careful.
It's not going to be long, though. It's probably going to be maybe like 20, 30 minutes. Probably more like 20 minutes.
Still, there's substance within there. I've been trying to hone a schedule for this year ever since I started this, like, Cartoon Network Nudes era project. And I was like, is this going to be 3 videos? Is this going to be 4? Like, what's it going to be? I think what I want to do is have it be 3 across the summer, like June, July, August, and then take a break from it and then come back around, like, a holiday maybe, so that way I can do other stuff. My summer is going to be taken up by that. Hopefully we get this this prologue video that's just mostly about Chowder out at the end of June. And I got other stuff working on in the background. And Dan, question, video, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on my MomoCon panel video. That should be out by the end of June.
Nice. Forgot that the general public hasn't seen that yet.
Yes, they have not seen it. It's going to be good. And then I'm hoping to have the big video out by end of July, early August.
Whoa,
and
that's
finally
really
done.
fucking close.
Finally.
Oh my god, I didn't know we were that close.
I know.
It's nuts.
I know.
Holy shit. All right,
We're
well,
getting there.
We'll get to that moment. But for now, I'm hanging up. I'll see you guys next week. You guys know the drill, all right? Tomorrow, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Total Tomodachi Island stream. Episode 8, I think, week 8. Hopefully it won't be split in twain this time. All right, outro. You know what's nuts? I gotta pee again.